They're just kind of just there, just laying around. To be
Yeah.
honest, with me and Twitch, we don't even
Yeah,
we don't even have them anywhere.
we're just here. I feel like Dream just died at the exact second I said that.
Man, I'm dead. What do you want me to even upload these on my own on my YouTube,
Yeah, on YouTube.
bro? I just download the
This
VOD
guy.
and bring it there.
Yeah.
You could.
That seems like a lot of work, doggy.
There you go. We'll advertise when it comes up.
Advertisement. We have a
Advertising. Real
Pulses
Yeah.
ad.
pulses.
Hmm?
Pulses. You know about the Pulses ad, Dream?
Pulses on?
Pulses. You know, have you ever heard of a numb rhythm game?
A numb rhythm game. It gets worse every time I hear it.
I'm thinking of ways how to make it even worse, but I'm like, dang, I can't really think of anything else how to make it sound worse now. I can't say pad game or anything like that now.
A numb game rhythm.
Numb game rhythm. You ever heard of it?
No, I have not.
Did you know that the
played
Juice
it.
Discord has its own pulses channel?
I did not. Wait, it does?
He's going to check.
Checks other games.
It's not there.
It is there.
No.
Oh, no, wait, there is. Yeah, there is.
It's just Nas and I.
I want to be in there. Where is it? It's inside other games?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in other games.
Other games.
There you go, Thor.
I dread for pulses. I
Sorry, we're streaming over there?
I gotta put this up like right now. Hang on. Where did I place it?
Where do you place what?
The pulses ad that Nos made.
Oh.
Dang, I don't know what I named it, so I don't know where it is.
A numb rhythm game.
Rhythm game. Gamer.
Man.
Can't you believe it? We're episode 2 right now. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, we're live on
We're
episode
live.
2
Oh my god,
of
we're
Concentrated
live.
Juice podcast
What
that
am
we
I
don't
do?
post anywhere
I don't know.
or record. We just stand here.
I don't know what to do with this thing. I'm just gonna call out someone else that's bugling.
You're gonna start bugle drama.
I'm gonna be
Go ahead.
cool.
There you go. You can have one too this time.
Well, what am I gonna do with it?
I don't know. Do what you want.
Well, like what? It's just, why did you buy this? It's a premium bugle.
Bugle.
This is like some rich guy shit.
Yeah, well, what do you mean? It's only 2.5.
You spent
2.5
10.5 mil on this
That's
thing?
$2.50.
These guys.
Dude, I could get like a burger for that.
Oh my god.
No. I bought them on auction. I don't pay in money.
Extinja Blue just sent me like a panda. Oh, it's a penguin. I thought it was a panda. I'm not gonna lie.
That is a penguin.
That's a penguin.
How do you think that's a panda?
Because it's a black and white.
Oh my god. I thought I was the blind one.
Alright. Before I interrupted everybody, today we're going to be talking about Shadow Wizard Money Gang. They love casting spells. Nucleized nukes.
Bees make honey.
Yeah!
Bees make honey? Are
Yeah.
some dead bees now?
The sad part is that connects. That's the worst part about that song, by the way. Everything about that song just connects so well in that area. It's insane.
Totally written by a Mabinogi player.
It has to be a Mabinogi player. There's no reason why to involve, like, bees make honey. There's just no way, man. And then legalizing nukes. That has to be it has to be like some form of like it has to be fireball. That's what it is. It can't be anything else. It has to be fireball.
Gosh.
There's just too much. It connects too much.
Is it just too perfect?
It's just too perfect.
Did you spell concentrated right, by the way?
I did.
Nice, nice, nice.
As someone with 6k potent crystals, me get excited to hear about Shadow
Oh
Wars Elite.
no!
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 How do you have 6,000 of these stuff? Who has 6k of potent crystals laying around? Bro.
No, not like this.
Bro. Why?
I think you heard the wrong guess.
I bought them in shops for 10k each. That's profit. But the
That's
real profit
profit.
is in selling the shadow crystals to someone else. I swear.
That'd be almost like 120k now.
We're not going to be talking about the nightmares, sadly. We think nightmares
Yeah.
are just too expensive for what they were in any scenario.
Yeah.
They also just come out really uncommonly. They're usually given out as events than really gacha items.
Yep. You can't. It's hard to mass them in any sort of bulk.
Yeah. Just not enough of them to make a huge bulk out of them.
Yeah, I think I updated the price on this just now. I don't actually remember. No, I definitely did. So this chart is accurate as of like 10 minutes ago.
10 minutes ago, ladies and gentlemen.
10 minutes
active.
ago. It doesn't look good though. Realistically, how long does it take to run Shadow Wars? I put 2 minutes there because that's like what it should take. But I've never actually run Shadow Wars at Elite in like years. But when I did run them, I'm pretty sure they took like 6 minutes.
Yeah, I was thinking like 5 to 6 minutes. Because there's a lot of running around you have to do.
Is it a lot of running around because people can't clear their rooms fast by themselves?
Okay.
Thank you, Trider, for following. And welcome to Chin Champa family.
Yeah, that's a clear fast, but it just still takes a while. Because what is it, like 5 waves per room?
Is it that much?
Or 6 waves?
Is it that
I
way
think
as
it's a
much?
lot. Let me see.
I still feel like even that isn't. So if you run Shadow Wars with 8 people and everybody takes an orb, right? It should be a 2 minutes a run, if that even, right? Everyone runs to their orb, kills the wave, and then exits, enters, right? I don't think it
Fortunately,
takes.
it's never that fast.
Why?
I don't know. Tell the people that I'm clearing 4 rooms with.
Ninja legitimately just said it hurts when people don't pick up Errant Spirits, Holy Crusader, or Heroic Stones.
Yeah,
that's
I
money
mean,
right there.
that's like the only money you make in Shadow Wars. It's like,
Well, you get Infernals too.
oh, Infernal Blade Fragments. Next thing you know, you're gonna start talking about the 4/4 Cressida wear.
That
Get out of here.
is drop from Shadow Wiz.
It is a Shadow Wars drop.
It is the
I've
body.
never actually gotten a 4/4 from that.
I have gotten it. Not a 4/4/4, but like a 3/4/2.
I don't
The
think
best
I
got
run
was like a
enough.
4/2/3.
Guardian Red Dragon passes go for 1 to 2 ml in Auction House 2. Are they dropped there? I don't remember them being dropped there.
Yeah, they
I
are.
think they're in the pool.
So like the secret passes all randomly drop from things, but they are incredibly rare. Let me see if I can find the drop rate on them. I'm pretty
Better off
sure we
getting the
had.
Alban stones.
Pretty sure we had this. Let's see. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, I think the rates were you better off getting like a BME though. I swear.
Yikes. Okay, so Shadow Wizard in general. When we did the math for the crystals are right here for the highest and from the lowest when it comes to gacha. And these are the ones from the gacha. They're not the ones from like Fistia because the ones from Fistia are even lower numbers than those.
Yeah, anything less than this just probably is just not going to be worth your time to run that many Shadow Wars to like even use them.
We haven't really talked about errant spirits if they're just really inconsistent and not provide too much as well. I know people buy them, and I know the titles are good. It's just I don't know. I've opened a few of them and haven't really gotten anything out of them.
Yeah, they're like 400k-ish, so like I guess they're decent profit if you do get one, but like I don't think they're
Yeah.
common enough to justify
Well, the
adding.
thing is, people need 10 of them, so they're
Yeah, you need
pretty
10
much
of them,
buy 'em.
and you can get duplicate titles, and like there are only like 5 good titles in the entire thing,
That's true.
Mm.
and the pool is pretty wide. I don't know why people spend 400k on Air and Spirits just to gamble for titles that aren't very good.
I agree. I think the big main thing we need to talk about Shadow Wiz is asking the people who run Shadow Wiz, like, what exactly do you get out of it besides the cash, like the gold? What's the main goal from the place from Shadow Wiz? Do you actually enjoy doing Shadow Wiz? Do you enjoy spamming Shadow Wiz? Do you enjoy tapping the vouchers? Question mark.
I like running with 8 people. That's the only reason why I run it.
I don't know.
So you're saying you run it just to run with people?
Yes.
Couldn't you run like other things just to run with people?
But what else is there to run?
Crom.
Like,
I mean, Glenn
Crom's
is 8
4
people.
people. Yeah, Glenn's the only option for 8 people. It's high level content.
I would say Glenn is pretty low level content on normal, personally.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you on that, fair, but we don't have much 8-person content. It's
That is
Piri.
true. There's Piri.
That's pretty much it.
What else is there?
Gets vouchers out of it.
Mhm.
I think it's because I don't think Korea actually has 8-person content besides Glenn.
That's not really true. You can always make a new party for raids. I think raids, honestly, I think raids will make more money than just Shadow Wiz, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, yeah, raids make way more money than Shadow is. It's like not even close.
Well, Raids is a ghost town with NA.
I don't think it's that bad.
Martial arts also has like 6.
I think martial arts is 6.
Yeah, martial arts is 6.
Yeah.
Flayos?
I think he's talking about Philias.
Flayos.
Could it be...
Like, where you change your demigod.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, Flayos is 8, man. There's always Magmill too, actually. Magmill's...
Oh yeah, Magmel, 8 man.
Magmill's a
I
pretty
think-
big profit.
Yeah, I think Magmel is way more profitable than Shadow is.
Mm-hmm.
True.
You get one bead, and you already made more than you would have made in Shadow is for like 2 hours of Shadow is.
What's your beats going for right now?
I would assume they're going for like 1 to 2 mil. Let's see.
I'm assuming they're really
Faded.
expensive right now.
Yeah, faded basic bead or faded intermediate bead. They're going for about like 1.8 mil each.
Dang.
So yeah, your profit is way higher running normal like Magmel.
Yeah.
Because not only can you get like the beads, you could get smooth leaves. I think smooth leaves is somewhat profitable, right?
They should be.
The scented soap, I think, is worth something as well.
Smooth leaves are like 150 for K each for those people who are making the bells. You could run 4 seasons for scented silk.
I mean, we could say
Which I would assume, yeah, a scented silk is 2 mil each as well.
The fleur tier.
The flare tiers only come from hard mode. You'd probably want to run intermediate because you have a higher drop rate of beads.
Hmm.
So like,
Master beats. Oh, I don't even see master beats from hard.
it's because in order to hit beads in hard, you have to hit the master bead pool, which is just very rare. So it's always better to run intermediate for profit, unless you're going for like a tier stone or something, or the Tears of the Forest appearance scroll. Ooh.
Isn't that best in slot now since the Seraph?
What? It's always been the best in slot.
Well, like it's actually worthwhile to have now since
The
it's
tiara?
instead of wig. Yeah,
The tiara was always worthwhile to have.
no, but for like everyone now.
I mean, yeah, it's always
What
been
are you
for
gonna put
everybody.
for
I mean,
head slot now?
I think the main issue with before was that you couldn't wear Troubadour with it, so you need to select Troubadour if you want to put down a ring.
Well, yeah, but like, you wear tiara for inspiring build anyway. Like, you still wear tiara for playing the buff.
Yeah, now because of the boots.
No. There's always no reason to not equip swap if you had tiara.
Nah, you're
But the
just
circles are so good.
You're just coping.
That's why you equip swap into the tiara to play your buff, and then you equip swap back to chorus hat. Back then,
Sounds like cope.
there was like no reason not to equip swap that.
Sounds like cope.
It's not cope. It's just proper gameplay.
Go game. What's bad for your fingers?
Cope.
It's not that bad. It's actually pretty good.
Let's see what else can have 8 parties inside of it.
Well, let's get away from like eight people. Let's talk about like other options for gold, because like Mag Meld, the gear requirement for Mag Meld I think is about the same as Shadow Wizard Elite, right?
For intermediate, I mean,
arguably, yeah.
not even. You could use NPC stuff for Magmel.
Yeah. Like, even the pet stuff for like intermediate, like it's not that big of a deal.
No,
Like, how long did like a 4 seasons run take on average? You think? What, maybe like 10 minutes.
10 minutes if people can do the flare mechanic reasonably fast.
Like maybe 10 minutes. And let's say you get like a bead every like in order to make 1 mil in time, you have to get at least 1 bead in like 2 hours in order to like be equivalent with Shadow Wizard Elite.
Oh, you're easily gonna get like probably 4 beads, maybe 5.
Yeah. Like
we have Drantino inside the chat saying he has soloed Magmel Fleur intermediate with blinded gear on him.
Yeah, like Magmel isn't that difficult, and like it's just way better gold than Shadow Wizard Elite, right?
Yeah. Well, Commerce is another good option as well. It's just a lot of running around.
We actually had a little thing when we were going into Commerce with Shadow Wizard Elite. I did brought it up, and I have done some math for it, and I do agree that Commerce is a lot faster, even if you don't have any reforges or anything to support you. The biggest issue when it comes to Commerce, besides the weird people who want to like up price like ducats things, because personally it just doesn't make any sense. I don't know why people want to do this, by the way. To all the people who want to sell Venom swords for like over like 50 mil or 30 mil, you guys are insane. But good job for keeping that market up. But other than that, I think it's kind of insane how much gold you can make out of Commerce just by casually just running around.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. There's like no gear requirement. All the gear that you can get is just kind of quality of life to speed up the profits, like commerce accessories and like transfer speed and stuff like that. But like all of it's not necessarily needed, and you get so many rewards and you get so much gold.
I'm still bummed out of all the nerfs though.
I mean, yeah, they nerfed like some of the gold generation from it, but like I don't think it's that bad. I think it's still really good.
Yeah, it's still really nice, but I kind of miss making 40 mil an hour.
Like, you definitely make way more in Commerce than you do in Shadow Wizard Elite.
True.
Like, why would you ever do Shadow Wizard Elite? Like, sure, Magmel, like, those beads, they have a price that's probably inflated right now, and they'll probably go back down to, like, 1 mil-ish later. And, like, they may end up being harder to sell if a lot of people do it, but with Commerce, like, that's just raw money.
Raw money, just like Shadow Wizard Elite.
Well, there's also the option if you have the Fin Bell and you make the perfumes that you get from the drops.
Yeah, perfumes also sell.
Yeah, those ones are pretty pricey. People always buy them, and people buy them more in bulk as well because, you know, they need more of them in bulk to keep Finny.
Yeah, like, you need a lot of them. And so, like, crafting that is also, like, a lot of gold for pretty little investment, I think. Like, what, reforged Fin Bead, or Fin Bell? And then, like, a pet kit thing, the pet training set.
I think the biggest thing about
the
Shadow...
pet kits?
Yeah, kind of like those.
Yeah.
I think also we need to just consider the elephant in the room with these crystals, besides them being collected by gacha, is that there's Lord passes and there's Lord missions.
Yeah. Right, like, Lord missions are... Sure, you can only do like three of them, currently 5 of them a day, but like, doing those with the crystals makes more sense.
Like, that's really the biggest elephant here right now when it comes to like Shadow Wiz versus just Lord missions that you can do as a daily. And I know people have VIP to keep running Shadow Wiz for the vouchers in the dungeon. However, once you cap out in the dungeon thing and you're still getting vouchers, do you think it's just time to just move on from it instead, or do you think it's, you know, worth your while to just stay there or just do it as a daily for lords instead?
I mean,
Lords is all.
I think if you're running Shadow Wiz, you've probably run your Lord missions already, right? Surely, right?
I don't think so. Yeah.
So like,
So,
I think
Lord
it's
mission
people who
passes
ran their Lord
expensive.
missions already, and like, you run your Lord missions, you get your crystals there. Like, sure, but like, you can farm more gold in Shadow Wiz Elite, I guess. But like, it just doesn't seem like an effective use of time. Like, it takes so long to get just 1 mil in Shadow Wiz Elite that you could have made commercing. You could have been running Mag Mill.
I think that's probably like 2 weekly loads is all, which probably takes you only 5 minutes each time.
But like, I don't know, it just... And then like, you can always do bartering too. Bartering is like really good money too.
Bartering's
like-
disgusting money. It's
So like,
almost like 20, 30 mil.
like
Every
there's
single week, right?
Yeah.
it's a lot.
That's a lot.
On top of getting your ducats.
Hmm.
Like that you can spend on other stuff to sell.
Yeah,
I think
so it gives you 30 mil gold,
I think
30
pouches
mil
still sell
tickets.
pretty decently. Stuff like that. Like there's a lot of value in it.
So, realistically, the only upside I can see from Shadow Wiz, from what we've been talking about, because there is another elephant on the side that's kind of hiding in the corner right now. I'll bring it up here soon. The biggest thing that I have noticed from all the other content that we have brought up, none of them drop any of the materials that are needed for Celtic or Giant armor. But from saying that, you guys probably already know what's inside that corner now. That elephant right there is obviously hard mode dungeons. What do you think about those? What do you guys compare that to Shadow Wiz?
I would rather run hard mode dungeons than I would Shadow Wiz Elite. By a lot.
I make my money back just off the potions from the end chest.
Yeah, like there's a lot of gold to be made in them. Not just from like the gold from the end chest, but like you get if you hit an enchant, like obviously they're a rare drop, but like you hit an enchant like a disaster.
Yeah.
That's like what, 40 mil for a disaster right now?
Yeah, I think 40.
How many Shadow Wizard Elites does it take to get that kind of gold? Let's see. Let's see how much a disaster is real quick. Disaster. Alright, a disaster is... Yeah, around 40 mil. So, around 40 mil. So we pull up a calculator, we get 40 mil. And we divide that by the 90k profits for potent finds. You need to run 440 Shadow Wizard Elites. Well, 441 Shadow Wizard Elites in order to make that kind of gold.
That's a lot of
That's
Shadow
nuts.
Wizards.
141. So, like, if we assume, like, 2-minute runs, which isn't realistic, right, Dream? I think realistically you're looking at, like, 5-minute runs, right?
I would really have to be pushing it to do a 5-minute run.
Yeah. So, like, well, let's assume that you're going really quickly and you're doing 2-minute runs. Like, that's 14 hours of like 14, almost 15 hours of Shadow Wizard Elite. Is that... And that's just one drop. Like, ruptured black metals also sell probably for, like, what, 1 mil? If not a little less. Yeah,
Way more than
I
that.
sold
now.
one.
Yeah, like...
Sold one yesterday for 600k. They're actually pretty low
Yeah.
for what they are.
Oh, well. But you have, like, subtle marks, firm blade fragments as well.
Yeah, those ones are kind of the bigger money. They're actually pretty good.
Deformed rings.
What? Cleansed mage gems.
Mage gems are worth it now. Clear gems. Those ones.
Clear gem?
Yeah, the cleansed gems.
The cleansed mage gems. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, those ones.
And then obviously, you know, rich chaotic runes and BMEs.
I mean, there's also the, what's it called? Destruction rope pattern from Henchess.
Yeah, we'll
which
just
is
fuck around
what, 100
pattern.
mil?
I think it's like 10 mil.
Is it?
I don't think many people buy them for that much. Surely
Uh,
not, right?
Hopefully not. I don't think people should be caught in spending that much for those patterns, to be honest with you. Not purely because of what it comes out of it, and not because how much you need to put into it either. I think it's just purely because, like, realistically, people have to think about, am I actually going to go with this kind of deal?
Yeah, there aren't many. Well, there are a lot of people going for D-Rubs, but when you consider it
Yeah.
versus like
it's not
the
50
broad
mil.
player base, like there aren't many people going for D-Rubs.
Yeah.
Not true.
But there just isn't enough BME demand. There's a lot of BME demand and not enough BME supply.
Yep.
Oh, C-Tail. Actually, did anyone test if you frag grade 30s, do you get a BME?
Not always.
Not always, obviously.
Is it a
but
chance?
I think Doggy said he's gotten one in the past.
I have gotten one in the past. I just don't know how rare they are. I already fragmented 4 grade 30 echoes, and the biggest thing I gotten out of them was 5 wooden boards, which personally I was like hyped about it, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be like, why in God's heaven did you just frag the 30?
I don't think grade 30s have much value. Especially the ones that we're rolling just randomly because we're not supplementing. Like you were getting like what 90s, like that's like an average Echo Stone now.
Yeah, well, you do get a supplement out of them too,
Yeah,
which
so,
are like 1.5.
But like Sid, hey, it's like really good profit now. I think like it's way better profit than Shadow Wars Elite. Like
And
if you're just farming for supplements, like every 4 runs you get 1.5 mil, right?
That's
I think that's a supplement price. Surely you can do 4 runs in like what, an hour, and that already beats out Shadow Wizard Elite. On top of the fact that you're getting like stimulants too, which you could also sell or use to reroll Echo Stones too.
true.
Like there's a lot of value. Like Doggy and I have been running a lot of Sid Hay, and like I think I've gotten some pretty good Echo Stones so far. Like I've gotten an Ice Mastery 20. And an Ice Mastery 16, like that's pretty good. A combo 9, like obviously these aren't like the most valuable, but like they're still pretty decent.
I wish
torturing myself in very basic. So no.
I wish people brought down the prices on Echo Stones, to be honest with you. I think people need to get their mindset off how expensive Echo Stones need to be now. Because
I think Echo Stones are worth a lot less now just because of how much easier they are to roll.
Yeah.
Like grade 30s. I think a lot more people are actually running Sid Hay now just because of it. I think it was a really good update.
I'm tempted to sell that Lance Echo and make a better one.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you can sell it.
That's more realistic.
it's just so much easier to get them now, and it's really great. And this is not including any of the bonuses, by the way, Dream. Like we did this off the bonus weekends.
Yeah, we've been just doing this no bonus, and like we've gotten so many grade 30s.
Yeah.
So you're running at like 45%?
Yeah. It's kind of
But, like,
insane, to be honest with you.
They're still really common.
Like,
Yeah.
there's times where we completely just fail, like 5 levels, just like that. But then on the next run, we get them all back, and then the next run, we just get it to 30, just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they up the count too, which helps a lot.
Yeah.
It helps a lot. On top of that, we're getting our awakenings on our things, and we're farming supplements. Like, it's really good profit. Supplements will always sell because people always want to try and make high roll Echo Stones.
The perfect
And they are-
Echo Stone.
And they are a very consumable item.
That would be
So-
another good option for
It
Golden
is
Acre.
like really good.
Oh, that's right. It said it can go up to 6 people, too. That one's pretty good, too.
What else? I mean, obviously techs are good.
It's actually getting the rolls is the issue. Than actually getting 30s. Yeah.
It's hard to get high grade rolls, but like now with supplements being so much easier to get, I think it's pretty easy to get a 100 roll. Or a 100 plus roll.
Yeah.
Just because every 4 runs you get a supplement. That's another reroll. Let's see. I do think techs are still pretty valuable.
Yeah, but we're also like leaning towards
But we're
Shadow's
leaning
level.
Yeah, we're leaning towards a little higher end content when we go to there.
We
So,
are.
let's go back to the Realm of Shadow missions. What about Sniper War? Evaporated?
So you're just
There's
farming
60
one
mil.
enchant, right?
Yeah, you're
Or
farming
2.
one enchant. One enchant. But it's a 60 mil enchant.
And it is a little
Mm.
faster, to be honest with you. A little bit more casual too, because every single time you run Sniper War, right, Dream, usually you would have a mage that casts Fireball.
Yeah, I mean it's similar gear to Fireball, right?
You're talking to a giant, though. I just rammed the walls.
That's kind of weird, but okay. I'm also a giant and I fireball the walls over the wall.
I just wind guard and charge at them and then smash.
But like, do you think that so in order to get a to make the same profit in the same like for an evaporated, you would need to run 638 Shadow Wars Elites. Do you think you get an evaporated in 638 runs? I think you do.
I think you probably would, yeah.
I think
But I
probably
feel like what they should do is lower like the availability of weapons a tier. So like drop demonics probably just a common drop at this point, and then put Celtics and Shadow missions.
Is Celtic not gear not already in Shadow missions?
They are.
Celtic?
They are.
Celtic.
Or I mean divine.
Oh.
Ooh.
Mm,
I don't know about that one.
I don't know about that one too. I do agree
I mean, we're
that
getting
I
Rev and Perseus soon.
I know. I honestly kind of agree when it comes to divine weapons need to be more available, because locking them behind just into one like closed up content. And
Yeah.
you can totally argue with me with this, because I can go against it too easily. But the fact that divine weapons are closed up all in one area, including inside raids like Broken Guardian guns and the spellbook, but people don't really care about those. I'm talking more like the divine short lance and stuff, but they can only be created with metals from the Baltan place. I personally dislike that. It makes sense at the time.
I mean,
it makes sense where it is.
They're changing that though with the purification update, because they're adding those items to the purification drop table.
Ah, okay.
So I think we'll see a lot more of them, even though they're limiting the amount of pure runs you can do per week.
Yeah, but I still feel it's
because
just
a lot of people don't squire farm, and a lot more people
too hard to
farm
make
on
divine
purity.
stuff. And then you can make Revenant and Runation stuff much easier than divine stuff.
Yeah, I do think it's a pain to create
divine
to
weapons.
create divine weapons, but I also think that divine weapons aren't weapons you need for like in that tier of Shadow Wizard mission or like Shadow missions.
I agree as well, actually. I think it's also a little weird how the Celtic signets and divine signets are kind of just placed all over the place, by the way. They're in like all shadow missions
Everywhere.
and then like hard mode dungeons. But like, what kind of common player, right, that has a Celtic weapon doing Shadow Wiz would do with a divine, signet? A random one too. Let's just say you got the Divine Blade one. That one's worth money. But then you get like a random one out of nowhere, which is a Divine Tribal one. Then you're just kind of like, oh, kind of weird.
You just don't pick it up.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, why are they even being dropped?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like they tried to like add these Celtic signets to buff Celtic weapons for new players, but at the end of the day, no new player is going to get a 10 signet item.
It's just too rare, too inconsistent, and
It's too rare, and the upgrade chance is abysmal.
Yeah.
Feels bad. I'm still on 1. My Divine Blade's so hard to rank up.
It's just not worth doing a Divine Blade signet, I don't think.
It has Final Strike on it, if I believe.
Yeah.
It's Rage Generation, it doesn't really matter.
Oh, bummer.
It's still nice to have, but yeah, it's not
It's nice
really
to have, but it's not worth going out of your way to get.
It's only half amount from what comes from Nightbringer.
Yeah. Let's see, Nightbringer gives 15% Rage Generation. It still feels bad.
It's always stage 1 of gifts.
But I do agree that divine weapons are a pain, but I don't think putting them in the same tier as shadow missions makes sense. I think they're way stronger than shadow mission tier. You don't actually need divine weapons until like what? Like Cromish?
Yeah, but I still feel like progression should be easier at this point. There's no reason to make divine weapons harder than tech weapons to make.
No,
I think
I kind of agree
I
there.
can agree with that, but I think the problem with divine weapons is the accessibility of its mass being locked behind Beltane Squires.
Yeah.
Which realistically, it's way easier to craft a divine weapon than it is to craft a demo weapon or a ruin weapon. By like a lot. People just don't want to set up squire farms. But if you set up a squire farm, you will literally just start printing out divine weapons. For free.
Oh, yeah. Square Farm just printing money.
Money.
But like, people just don't like doing that, so...
It's kind of like a daily task of keep going. Well, it's not even a daily task, that's the worst part. It just constantly needs you to just keep looking at it. I know it's really AFK, and I know you can legitimately just send 3 of them. As someone who did both of those, demo was actually easier.
Yeah. Like, no gear requirement. Yeah, demo is actually easier. Yeah, demo is really easy to get. But at the same time, if we consider like the gear level of like the Shadow Mission players, I think Divine Weapon is a lot easier to get than demo.
It's just the requirements of getting to the point where Divine Weapons, right? You have to get like kind of cracked out like Baltan team just to do that. Because
Yeah.
I know for a fact, for having that team like that with pretty high stats takes like almost a full, like almost 6 months just to do that. And that's really long versus like a demolition weapon that you can create under like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And like, you could look at the price on a demo. A finished demo is what, like 200 mil?
I think a finished
A
demo
clean
costs
divine,
100 mil more than like crafting it yourself if you bought all the mats. I swear.
Maybe. But like, if just a clean D blade is what, 200 mil?
Yeah. Damn the EKs, right?
Yeah. Like,
Let's
that
see,
should be the case.
It's more of an issue. We don't really got content that feels a flow, like it flows through shadow missions to text as content to grind. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
There isn't really a mid tier between those. They added like text beginner, but like, let's be real, so that doesn't do anything.
Tech Beginner kind of patches up a little band-aid, but definitely doesn't solve the main issue that's going on right now. The only thing it really solved is the armor issue that a lot of people were having, because the armor provided the magic protection that you needed for those missions. But the player base doesn't really understand that you need more magic protection in those missions, because, you know, what do you suspect out of, you know, people looking at their armors and not knowing their upgrade paths for each one for magical upgrade and normal upgrades? Especially when a lot of people inside the end tier game would rather have the best of both worlds, having both different types of armors for different types of content, and don't really explain that to people.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact you two have different sets of armor when it comes to content, and I even have a different sets of armor for when it comes to content, which is kind of crazy to think. Yeah, see, it's kind of crazy to think now that we have different armor sets now, just kind of just laying there for more protection and versus more magic protection.
Yeah, like obviously I'm going to be wearing a different set of armor when I go into Glen. Like, I want more protection there, so obviously I'm going to sacrifice some damage to get more protection. But like, yeah, I think a lot of these people, they have one set, and I think it's not just one set. I think it's like one set for one talent, and they don't have any other talent. A lot of them.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what do you do from there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
I feel like
I think that's like the main like good thing what beginner tech did, and it fixed that advantage for that point. But it seriously doesn't help out when it comes to like any weaponry upgrades or like showing off other talents, because beginner tech made it really easy to the point where you don't need other forms of skills, and there's no like form of like punishment too when it comes to just using one form of skills as well. There isn't like any mechanics inside of them that are similar to like normal, advanced, or even elite. And so when a player like averagely goes from easy, saying, wow, that was really easy, that was basically Shadow Wiz right there, boys, let's go to normal, and they get into normal and they knock back a yellow slime with Hailstorm, they would finally realize that yellow slime is immune to him now, and he has not a clue what's going on, and they get confused out of their mind.
Yeah. I mean, I
There's
think,
so much magic protection on stuff.
and I think this problem, like, it especially happens with mages, where they have all these spells that are like magic is like a really strong talent, and they have all these spells, but I feel like a lot of them only cast 2 of them, with that being like hailstorm and fireball. And like,
I wholly agree with this.
it's like it ends up becoming a problem because they don't do things, they don't get into the habit of like grouping things, which ends up being a big problem later on, like when you start getting into like these techs, because you go from like shadow missions where you're just fireballing everything and everything's dying, and then you start going into techs and you try to fireball everything, and next thing you know they stand up and then they start beating your ass. They start rolling on you.
Oh jeez, you have a mob.
Can be used, but I find Thunder.
Yeah, Ice Spear has its places, Thunder has its places, but like, what about Lightning Rod? People don't use Lightning Rod as much as they should when it's really, really powerful.
I didn't know you could do that. I just heard you.
I feel Thunder honestly is a good setup skill as well. You
It's
DM
really good. Yeah, DM Thunder,
Thunder,
is so
then
really, really
onto
good.
your rest of your combo.
I
Time shift, hail, fireball, meteor, something along that line afterwards. After you have everything grouped.
I also dislike what Fireball does, to be honest with you. I don't like the fact how when you chuck a Fireball, it force knock back things, but they also just grab so much aggro once you hit multiple targets. And I don't know, the first reaction that I would assume will happen to most people when they get that amount of aggression and start to run away. I mean, that's kind of like the common thing that you should be doing, but I feel like at the same time, some folks think they could keep chucking fireballs, and then most things inside there, right, when it comes to tech, especially with the Black Moon folks with shields, they just get straight right back up and just hit you with their smash or like hit. And it's kind of crazy just to react to it and not be ready for it.
Yeah. You use Elrod a ton since you not inhale 100% of the times, being a healer, we're saying? Yeah. I think Hailstorm is a big crutch for a lot of mage players. It's not a very good skill, in my opinion. It's very slow and bulky. You realistically can't use it without having Snapcast up. And its damage output just isn't really that good. It can't be combo carded. So Fireball ends up doing more damage to it than it once you get a combo card. Like, it's just not a very good skill. Elrod doesn't force retaliation while Fireball does, yeah.
Yeah.
Elrod does a lot of damage. It's limited by its cooldown, but like even its cooldown isn't too bad, to be honest. I think also the other skill is like Blaze. I think Blaze is a really big skill that not a lot of people use.
That's hard casting time. I think Hailstorm also grabs a lot of aggression too, just like Fireball.
I was a bulldozer.
Yeah.
Who's this guy?
Also,
What's up with everybody choosing magic over archery?
Archery is really expensive is the main reason for that one.
yeah, archery is very expensive.
Is that the
I don't
reason?
think.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's the
5
reason
billion.
at all.
Is that what's
I mean, it's true.
I think a lot of people just. Okay, so like if you're a human, obviously you can't use archery, right? Without erg. But I think a lot of elves just default to magic. Blaze is an issue. We don't got enemies to use it on for damage. Crom. Blaze actually does really good in like Crom 30s. You can one-shot entire rooms with it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
you can just one tap the whole room.
I think Blaze is actually in a really good spot right now.
Yeah, and they're buffing with Dark Mage like even more. Like it's ridiculous. Blaze is like a really, really good skill where it's applicable. And like that's the thing with magic. You have so many different spells for so many different situations. You need to know which situation is the best for each skill, and when to use it.
I don't
But
think,
a lot of-
Honestly, when I saw the skill that can actually interrupt the magic from creatures, it's like, wow, that's just overpowered.
we will talk about
we'll talk about Dark Mage later.
yeah, we will be talking
And,
a lot more about Dark Mage. We're just talking about right now the big gap from Shadow Wiz to like other content, and how much of a bad habit it is, where people need to just realize there's a lot more better options now, and They should really honestly just get away from the Shadow Wiz stuff. And it's not us just being bullies about it either. We're not trying to force people to change their gameplay or like being mean about it. We're just saying it's kind of an unhealthy habit, and it's just kind of happening too much to the mindset of people that just want to stay in Shadow Wiz.
There's one enemy in Glen that we can use Blaze on, sadly. Yeah, I mean, obviously not every talent is going to be, and not every skill is going to be used in like every piece of content. We don't use Fighter in Glen either on in the room.
Plants that probably get you killed.
I can't use Shadow Cloak and Sid, bro.
Yeah. You use Crisis though.
No, you're actually not allowed to use Shadow Cloak at all. It disables it inside today.
It's so weird.
Well, you can't use Shadow Cloak in Glen?
In Sidhe. No, you can use it in Glen.
Oh, that sucks.
It's pretty fun.
What about Reindeer?
You can use Deer in Glen, yes.
You can use it inside City too.
Yeah.
Gosh, what was that?
Why is Shadow Cloak banned in Sidhe? It's because they didn't want you to Shadow Cloak and then hit the orbs for the fish. Yeah. They had that mechanic where you have to punch the tree in the center to be able to cloak. You have to get the Powder of Harmony or whatever. But like, who does that mechanic? It's just like, who does that?
Weird mechanic, by the way. Interesting mechanic.
I mean, they tried. Mechanic. It's just, I bet a lot of people don't even know the tree does that.
No, I don't think a lot of people don't know that. No, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's a stupid mechanic.
I think the quest doesn't really force it on you neither. They just say to go hit the tree, but they never say to actually consume it.
They never tell you why to hit the tree. I punched the tree for a while and I was like, why am I hitting this stupid ass tree? I don't know.
Well, that's actually one thing Mabby does poorly. They don't explain mechanics too well.
Yeah. I think Crom tried. I think Glenn just didn't try at all.
Yeah, Glenn gave up.
Like, Crom, he had the quest mode where you had to like go through and like, sure, you kind of learn some of the mechanics. You get to go in there. Like the quests like tell you about like what all the things in the top right do, like the info and the stuff like that. But
Glenn kind of had to.
Glenn is just like, hey, you burn this firewood in the thing, and like you don't even get that firewood in the actual dungeon. It's like you're sitting there spam typing to the one person in the random groups that won't like burn the firewood, and it just dooms runs. I really think Glenn is really easy content, but people just don't know what to do. Like, I think there's that one Soul streamer that recently released a video on like a Glenn normal guide or something. Yeah. I watched it. It seemed okay.
Yeah, he was actually asking for pointers yesterday on that. But I feel mixing in multiple talents helps a lot.
What are multiple talents?
Multiple talents and just one tricking.
Yeah, that, like, I don't know why so many people really like one tricking one talent. It's not good.
Like, if I look at mine, I use 9 different talents.
I only ever see you using EK, I swear.
You only see me using EK?
I see you using EK.
This guy. I use Gunner, I use Fighter in between swaps to break the armor, then I use Bard for circles. I use Ninja for
Shadow Cloak?
Debuff. And that's most
Shadow Cloak.
Shadow Cloak. Cloak Screen.
Yeah. And Bard, I use Dance of Death. I actually don't see many people use Dance of Death.
We were just talking about that like ages ago. Like the underrated like skills and Dance of Death is up there.
Yeah, I mean like it's a really good debuff. But
yeah, it's 10 protection. That's a lot of extra damage, even for 12 seconds.
Something that you only ever use on the Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Smokescreen is a huge mage buff, but actually it's kind of good. It's really good for mage. 7 magic protection is a lot. That's like 1 pierce. I don't know. That's more than 1 pierce.
And then chain I only use for DM.
Yeah. My plan is to build different sets and have equip slots build up. Just need 11 build. But the thing is, you don't really need 11 build to like build up different sets. You don't need to have like super maxed out sets for everything. But like, there are just minimums that you should have for everything.
I think like my chain set's what, like 30 mil? You need the DM20 glove and any chain.
Yeah, DM 20 gloves, any chain, and DM accessories is all you realistically need. And like, realistically, that's like probably 100 millish, and you're really set on chain.
That much.
I think the accessories are like 30 mil each, and I think DM 20 gloves is like 40 mil depending on the race. Like I got my
giant pair.
Yeah, I got my DM 20 for like 12 mil, but they're giant only, so like, you know, worthless to most people.
I mean, thanks to the new reforges, you can relatively get a good amount of gear easy.
Yeah.
I also did not realize.
Special iron, but you die because you don't have blunting. You can actually get blunting if you have a support puppet with your DM effect on, and then you run a 2-prot accessory, and that's how you can activate blunting pretty easily.
Like
if you don't have,
are you throw gold?
Yeah, if you don't have prot on your other gear.
I think this is where it comes back into one tricking like one skills once again, and I think I think that's what the main point of this topic is with Shadow is. It just goes into this like one category thing because let's be honest. If we look at all the skills, what other skill allows you to just clear an entire room in Shadow Wiz consistently?
Crash shot.
Crash shot.
Crash shot.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Final hit.
All right.
Yeah. Final hit. But then you can't clear another room when everybody's slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. I think chain is not good.
I feel chain is too slow unless you do that sweep thing with the pet.
Isn't it patch?
Did they patch it?
Yeah, they did. They did patch animation cancel quite a bit.
Oh, well,
It just doesn't work anymore. Oh, don't endgame people have like 3 times different pairs of creepy haunted, one with max, one with MA for me. So MA, those are your spookies. That's a different enchant entirely.
I don't even use creepy haunteds.
For DM, you don't actually need creepy haunteds because you don't need max for DM. You just get whatever accessories you can get. I think a lot of people just have like 1 pair of creepy haunted. Like I only have 1 pair of creepy haunted.
No, like, I have creepy haunted. I just only have the 1 pair.
Hey, I think you're talking endgame maybe. Most people don't have creepy.
Like creepy haunted with max attack reforged just isn't actually that good. It's like 6 max and it's worse than everything else.
I feel creepy haunted is a crutch as well. You don't need it.
You don't need creepy haunted. Yeah. Like it's definitely not the most important thing. There are definitely way more important things than creepy haunted. And I think people tunnel vision too much on the gacha exclusive gear. No, mages do not use creepy haunted at all. They definitely use eerie spookies.
Yeah.
I don't either.
They definitely just only use eerie spookies. I don't think KR actually has creepy haunted.
Yeah, KR doesn't have creepy haunted or eerie spooky.
Yeah. And they're doing well for themselves.
Like
I think they need to do better.
You don't need creepy haunteds at all. Like they're nice to have when you start getting into like super high-end content and you want to like start doing really, really big damage, but like I don't think you need creepy haunteds to clear Glen hard mode.
Oh, not at all. Like without creepy haunteds, I still can one-shot mobs in there.
Like Glen hard mode is hard because it's not a you're a giant. That's how Glen hard mode is. Like you don't need a ton of damage in Glen hard mode. You need to be skilled at the game to like not get one shot and not die.
Yeah, it's more like how the monsters react kind of thing.
Like Glen doesn't require like the most gear.
A good example is me and like you can understand. I went into Glen hard mode as 30k as an elf. And my gear right now as an elf is completely botch. I don't have over 100 protection. I have like the minimal of like 50 protection. And that, with Cater and everything on top of me, I barely hit the minimal of 100 protection. And that's just me barely hitting that. The damage in there for me is pretty decent. I can crit up to 12Ks with my bow. My meters, of course, do a lot more damage. And I think in Night Side we're pretty much undergeared for almost every scenario, to be honest with you, besides maybe Nos.
Yeah, Nos
Tachi.
is pretty good. I think I'm pretty geared, but I just my character is like brand new because I just swapped the giant, so like it doesn't have its techs. It's still underleveled, like hideously underleveled.
Like
You're also still learning giant combat too.
Oh no, I'm fine with giant already.
Mm.
That's fine. There's not much to learn about giant. You just use Stampede. You just use Wind Guard. You just use Taunt. You just have all these abilities that you just use. I swear. It's like the most brain dead race to play.
Then there's human, and we're gonna get the support shot removed, so we no longer have that going for us.
And the humans still are very important with support shot. It's even more important now than it is previously. I don't know why people are saying that the support shot is like a nerf to human. Like, sure they're buffing elves, but like you still need humans and elves both to like keep up support shot. Like you can't just do it one person.
Yeah, and we will be talking about that with the new Arcana here. I think for now, with the Shadow Wizard stuff, I think the main issue right now, from Shadow Wiz to like other stuff, we really need to start closing the gap. There's obviously other options that can clear up the gap, like Magmill into Tech is honestly a really good cap because it allows your pet to have more finny stuff, get stronger, and nothing really dismisses your pet inside Shadow Mission besides 7N and the random rock. I also think Magmail to Tech is also more friendlier, not because of gear progression, just purely because of pet progression. And I feel like having pets inside Tech is always a huge deal.
Yeah, I think having a built pet in Tech really helps. And I think that having Arcana now, it makes it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
And like obviously, like sure, we can say that elves don't have access to LNA, but I think Saint Bard is still really, really good for what it gives. And like you still get a ton of smoldering from running content.
Yeah.
That you'll be able to get your Link 5 for free pretty much. And like it's not that big of a deal.
I would also argue that Set A is also pretty good, but I don't think it'll be the big jump from Set A to Tech like that. Or like Hardmode Dungeons providing you the weaponry for it.
Obviously, it's not going to be a huge jump from Sidhe to Tech, but like getting your Echo Stones is actually really, really important.
Yeah, there's like a lot of stuff that
20 minutes.
there's like a lot of stuff that other people can be doing instead of just Shadow Wiz, and it's like Shadow Wiz kind of like fatigue or whatever this is, like where people only want to do Shadow Wiz, because there's people out there right now as we're speaking only log on Fridays, and only Fridays, just to do Shadow Wiz, and only Shadow Wiz alone, and then they just completely just stop playing the game, or just AFK around and not do anything. And those people, I know one of them because they're one of my friends, kind of, now. They don't want to do other stuff because they feel undergeared, they feel like they don't want to, you know, join other groups because they want to solo the content, and I'm not really sure where this mentality of soloing stuff is required.
The solo player mentality is just like so huge in this game, and I don't know why.
I'm not really sure why people want to solo stuff when you can be partying up with people.
You can just run in a group with people. It's more fun. It's easier. Like, what's the point of soloing?
It's very. I've soloed a lot. It's not fun to do after a while.
Yeah, most solo players, though, I think they're more towards like highly geared because you can get more rewards because you can
like,
go faster.
Like obviously, like there's like the whole like these really strong people are going to be able to clear solo, right? But I think the problem is that these people, they look up to these like really strong people who can solo Tex, and they're like the only way to reason to run Tex is if you can solo it. And like that's not correct at all. Like
those people have, what, 20 bill worth of gear?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
I
really,
mean,
it's really just not a good habit to build to get the solo mentality of like just wanting to just solo because they saw someone else do it. And the worst part about it is that they can't even do like half the things they're doing because we obviously know those are not actual players inside our party too, and we all have to admit that.
Yeah.
Those are obviously that dude's all, and he's just getting the cash out of it that way. Like, as much as I
Nice.
don't want to say about that, it's pretty obvious that that's the only reason why those people are even in there, even with different names, different gear sets. They're obviously there because it's him. It's just that one dude, and he built all that because he's strong enough to do it and all that.
Yeah. Well, that's part of Mavi's problem as well, is they need to fix the drop rates for that to make party play worthwhile.
yeah, the drop rates are awful.
Yeah, I think drop rates are bad, but I think the reason why drop rates are bad is because they want to time gate you as long as they can because their content release schedule is very slow. We get one major content release every year. So like we got Glen this year and then we got Bomb last year.
Yeah.
But how hard are they planning to time gate me when I do 20,000 runs of Kraken and haven't got a heart?
I find it better to rotate content to keep it fresh, thus avoid burnout, running various elite shadow missions, vet dungeons, advanced hardmode dungeons, bandit hunting, MA and Avon, Commerce, Sithe, ancient hunting, Phantasm, Area raids, advanced elite techs. Yeah, like, obviously we have to consider, like, okay, making money is one thing, but having fun and enjoying the game is like a complete other thing too. And like, is running... Do you think the majority of these Shadow Wizard Elite players enjoy running Shadow Wizard Elite?
Yep, and that was the first question I asked. Do you think these people actually enjoy running this?
I just want people to play with put their hands.
And I think that's what's going on here, and why we brought it up to you today, is that there's just too many people with this mentality of just only wanting to do Shadow Wiz just for the gold, and then they just sit around and don't do anything for the rest of the days, and then after a little while, those same folks usually blame the game and not themselves, because I've seen it too many times where they blame reforges when there's journeyman reforges. By the way, great update. They blame other players for being too strong, but they themselves just stand around and only play on Shadow Wiz on Fridays. We all know that one type of person, and the sad part is that they're different people too. And that's honestly the worst part about this. We all know at least one person like that, and it's not the same dude. And it's kind of like scary to think about that. There's multiple people that are like exactly like this, and there's not really much we can do to help them out besides just straight up just telling them, brother, you feeling okay? You need help?
Yeah. Like it's there's just, I don't know if it's like a lack of information or these people are just not motivated.
Let me ask something real quick. Have you guys talked about Alban?
Yes.
No, I don't think we have talking about Alban.
No, we haven't touched Alban.
Because a lot of people sleep on Alban and how incredibly powerful that dungeon is. But yet, I see nobody run it, except for whenever it's SS run. People tend to forget you can get a lot of Celtic gear from Alban. Not to mention the emblem. Like, it took me years to realize that I was missing a whole, like, 20 max damage combined with magic damage and an extra stat.
Yeah, like you miss, like Alban is really important. You get the 25 free max, like that's huge.
So like it's like, and you get
Celtic
free
weapons aren't actually that rare from Hall of the Crusaders either. Like the important ones for Erg, like the Throwing Star Knuckles.
Yeah.
Not to mention you get gems to do spirits. You get a lot of AP and skill training, and then like everybody's like, oh, I don't want to do all that. It's like, why not? It's like, oh, I don't have heroic. It's like, you don't need heroic to get
You just want the
rewards
knowledge.
out of it.
Everybody like is just like, oh, the only thing that Albin has is Dawnblade, so I'm never gonna run it. But like,
Yeah, it's all
Dawnblade.
Dawnblade. Dawnblade's like, no, I don't care about Dawnblade. I want my token, my thing. It's like
yeah,
people sleep on Albin a lot.
you got
Which I
issue
think
with
is
3-day limit on Albin.
Isn't it 5-day limit right now?
Yeah, it's 5 day
it's
right
5
now.
right now.
Normally it's 3,
Yeah.
but yeah, 3-day limit is bad. But like, I don't know. At the same time, having a limit isn't necessarily bad. I think.
I think 3 is in a good spot because most people. I'm gonna be honest. Albin is not really that fun to run.
No,
It's
Albin
okay.
is miserable.
It's a bit brain dead.
It's pretty miserable.
Also, the thing is, who has enough Alban stones to run that often, though?
You can actually sustain Albin stones pretty easily.
Yeah.
If you
I mean,
actually run
unless you're
Albin.
talking
Yeah.
heroic only, you can definitely do like advance and the other ones every other run because
Yeah.
you can get a lot of stones. I
Yeah.
mean, we're talking about if you bring cousins in, it's even better. But just by yourself, you usually
Like, or if you're just running with friends
yeah.
and like not soloing things. If you run with people, you know, you guys can get more stones to run more.
All together, like
All
a
together.
party.
I think Ryan has less one.
Yeah,
That's
I feel it's the
MMO.
solo mentality still.
Yeah, it still goes back to the solo player mentality.
Even though you can get 3 people in there just casually. Just saying.
Yeah.
To be fair, I said like, hey, anybody down to do Alban? It's like, oh, heroic is like, no, intermediate. It's like, oh no, never mind. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Albin is good, but yeah, it does all go back to like the solo player mentality, where everybody wants to just be able to like do all the content themselves and not have to interact with people. Do you think this? Do we blame Sword Art Online for this? Is that what this is?
I really don't.
Dude,
It's around the same time everyone was playing Mabby,
Yeah.
so maybe.
But I don't want to just 100% just blame SAO for this. I know it's inside the
I
game,
know.
and I know how popular it was, and I know people love it. I personally just like it, just saying.
Who's up here with you?
It's just, come on, man. You don't ever see anyone like be in this game having dual wield swords and being like, yeah, I'm Kirito, I can solo Fifietta.
I assume just because
You're gonna get
I'm
bullied.
sure if dual wielding was good, you would. I like. Is it like how? What is like? How do we get people out of like the solo player mentality? Is it the fact that there's like no? So like a lot of MMOs nowadays, they have like a dedicated,
4-party system.
yeah, like a looking for party system.
Uh,
Do we think obviously like there'd be challenges for that in Mabby, but like do we think that would be
I think what they
a
did,
partial solution?
I know that the whole reason of like, oh, if you do a dungeon with fewer people, you get better rewards. I understand the reason why they were doing it. It was because of the whole cousin things, right?
That was a weird fix, by the way. Also, they changed that later on.
Whacked him with money.
Yeah.
That we're supposed to get that changed, but we haven't yet.
I think the easiest way to fix it, and it's what Lathero said earlier, is if you make a matching system that rewards the players for matching up. That's the easiest way you can mediate like people not having a solo mentality. Because you say like, for example, you make the same as the dungeon guy, right? So if you finish the matching system a couple of times, you get like a specific milestone rewards, and they can even do it season like a season pass. But don't next time, don't charge. Just do like a season pass. Like, hey, this season is going to be mostly focusing on let's say elite missions, right? And they're gonna improve the rewards and make the matching system. So the more matches you do, you complete milestones and then you get rewards. So it kind of at least pushes people to use the matching system.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Drag
like the
them.
easiest way, I think.
Drag them to content like Dream does. I don't think this is an issue that should be solved by the players. I think that fundamentally,
Oh, hello.
like,
No, look at me.
this is like a game like development issue. Like something
No.
needs to happen in the game.
Mhm.
It
I
can't be
feel
players
guilds
getting to like do things.
I don't think
They
you
need
can
to do
ever
something with
beat
guilds.
AFK cousins.
I think,
If-
yeah, I think guilds could help. I think there is a guild rework we were supposed to get, right, Doggy?
Yeah, it actually helps a lot because they have their own guild rate system.
Like, yeah,
It's
they're like
actually
guild
really
raids,
fun.
and you like unlock a shop that like give rewards based on like what you do together as a guild. And like
Yeah.
I think that really like activates a lot of people to like actually start doing things together, which is good. I think
Yeah.
going back to what Joker was saying about the whole adding a queue for system. So what WoW does is every day you can queue for a dungeon, and like obviously you get the loot in that dungeon, but you can also get just for completing it, you get like a little reward for doing it, and like through the matching system. And like, why can't they do something like that for this? Like, where okay,
Yeah.
you ran it, why don't you get like a little something just for running it with
Final Fantasy
other
does
people?
the same with that as well too. They give
Yeah.
a reward for helping out new players.
I wanted to mention Final Fantasy that where they can do specific different queues is like you can do one queue up for dungeon, one queue up for elite missions, and then one queue up for like Chrome and Glam, right? So that way you have different queues and you just get a reward based on your progress on your level so far, not on the people that you're helping.
Yeah.
I think that would be good, and I don't think that's hard to integrate, in my opinion. But I'm not a game developer, so I
You know,
can't.
maybe this is all stuff to have planned for Unreal, because I think that MMOs have really changed since like what they were before. I think a lot of times, like half the time, you were playing an MMO like way back when you were spending a lot of time like just looking for like a group. So like for example, back when I played WoW, a lot of time was just spent sitting in the capital city trying to find people to run something with. And like sure that was cool back then, but like now realistically most people don't have the time to do that. Like
Well, Navi's changed a lot too. We used to spend, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours running a single dungeon, and we would still make profit off that. Now we're doing, I don't know what, 50 runs a day, just to make that same kind of profit.
Yeah, it's just people times change, and stuff needs to change. The player base has changed. They're now adults. They just don't have that much time to spend on this game now. They still enjoy the game, of course, but they just don't have that time to spend on this game, and I think that's what kind of changed and why things need to go a little bit faster.
and like okay, so let's say a lot of people have like a limited amount of time that they can play the game, but like is that really a reason to run Shadow Wars Delete? Like we're getting these people like these people like the game, but like they feel like the only thing that they can do is Shadow Wars Delete.
Yeah, but I also feel that all content should be relevant in some way. At least for progression. It's just our progression is so messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that they didn't really consider like future progression in the game when they created stuff, and it just led to all sorts of problems later on down the line, and that they're just starting to now fix. With like the whole Celtic weapon changes that they're going to implement in KR, and like obviously the Perseus Nightbringer changes as well.
We're actually getting somewhat of a gear progression, but it's so late into the game, and it's kind of bypassing for what it is, because they done gear progression. The biggest one they done ages ago was the demonic weapon to Celtic, and I brought this up ages ago. Demonic weapon progression is probably the most miserable progression that any player will get into, no matter what type of player you are. It is absolutely awful to create one demonic weapon by yourself, and it's just awful to ask other people to help you on it as well, because it requires so much out of it just to create a weapon.
Yeah.
That 15% chance of successfully making an iron bar, demonic iron bar. I love it.
Yeah, it's so punishing. It's too much. It's really just it's asking for so much for a demonic weapon, and they haven't done anything about it as well. And the worst part is that they can't do anything about it, because even if they make demonics common, so common I mean, and even if they allow the demonic weapon manuals, patterns, or anything like that to be common, or even the materials, people wouldn't still do it because of the must requirement of being inside that talent, of reborning, of changing talents too. Like they're doing it to Glenn right now, which as of this moment, it's just tailoring and blacksmith only requirement. But before you had handicrafts, you needed to be tailoring, you needed to be apocryphy, you needed to be inside tailoring once again, blacksmith, just to even
Carpentry.
create a cylinder. And the worst part is that you need to get the manual, and God forbid you do any of those missions that require the manual.
I just fork up and just pay the gold. I cannot be bothered.
Erg progression is screwy still and is still required for some skill sets. Yeah, like Erg progression, I think the new update is great. Like the Erg update is really fabulous. But I think for some weapons, it's just like nothing changed at all. Like for puppetry, for example, like you really need that cooldown, or else what's the point of having puppet Erg?
A legit
like-
name.
But like for others, like I think the knuckles really good with Ergay. I think
50% combo, right?
yeah, 50% combo damage. No, it's 50.
50? Oh.
Manual should never be in the drop table. Yeah, like demonic
Such a bummer.
weapons. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I feel like they just gave up on demonic items in general, besides the gloomy, which I still think they need to release something better than the gloomy.
Sorry to say, I think all gloomies need to be poo-poo now. They just need to release a new instrument and replace it. We really need to stop staying on this demonic gloomy shit.
You mentioned this to now.
I hate it, man. It doesn't even need to give more music buff. It can provide more music duration. It can do legitimately a lot more different things from the demonic gloomy. I just dislike the fact that it's still the demonic gloomy, and there has to be
Yeah, like another
else.
fantastic chorus buff.
Yeah,
Like there's so many things that they could do.
there's legitimately so much more they can do with their instruments, but they're just stuck in this mentality of let's just provide a new piano set. And then it's just really weird to see like 10 pianos, right? And half of them are only in gacha, and the other half are with ridiculous like requirements of like how much they are, like ducats or behind like Stardust. Like,
Yeah.
when was the last time you guys ever seen a song Stardust piano?
I
No,
don't think I've
I
ever
haven't seen
seen
a
one.
piano
I've
general.
never seen one.
Exactly, because why would anyone want to create that? It's just too expensive, too much requirements, and it sounds exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer because people who really actually want instruments will want to, collect these instruments, but they just can't because it's just too expensive, and it's just too rare from gacha too, and it's just kind of being a bully to people who only want to play instruments. And I know that player base exists, and honestly, I know they really hate all of this, but I'm pretty sure they agree that the demonic gloomy, for being the best in slot kind of thing, has been there for a little too long. It doesn't even need to be a different instrument, to be frank. It just needs to do something else than just provide buffs.
Yeah. Like for example, like what if they made it so like, okay, you have this new instrument, it does all the same effects as the normal gloomy does, like as far as its music buff effect and its duration goes, but this one lets you play magical music scrolls while you're casting your buff spell. Like how cool would that be? Or something. It just needs something, anything to be different than a gloomy, to be somewhat better, or like have a better use case scenario. Because like what? How old is the gloomy Sunday? Like 10 years old now at this point.
It's still considered the best in slaw. Woo!
And it's still best in
They
slot.
still have, like set bonus too. That would be nice. Because for example, when we got pretty much everything past the money has like a set, like Rev has a set sample, so maybe you could make the same value as the gloomy, but make the set like stand out. I don't know, but like you guys mentioned, increasing duration of buffs, or like if you have a buff on, you get like regen.
The thing is, we don't want to make the same mistake as Nexon did. Look, I gotta complain about the new gloves of BFO. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it for everybody. No one asked for this, and no one even really wanted this as well. I don't know anyone who was comfortable with the new pair of gloves.
Yeah, I think more people are upset than they were anything else, just because it's just flat out better than Trombador.
It's annoying.
Like-
It's just not friendly, and it was just honestly a big middle finger to a lot of people, especially when Troubadour is now finally introduced inside the auction house.
Yep, they introduced Trombador to the auction house, so everyone had a chance of just like buying it, so they could put more in the game, so it's not a gacha exclusive. And then they released Seraphic gloves.
Yeah, that's honestly what they should be doing is stop making this stuff gacha exclusive. Make it actual earnable in-game stuff.
Yeah, and like
Maybe.
just 2 better is just like it's a real kick in the nuts for those people who maxed rolled their technical maestros.
Mm-hmm. It's just it's not just unfriendly, but a gacha unfriendly. I agree. It was just honestly a big middle finger, and it was just honestly not really healthy for the game. I can't imagine why you need that 2 extra music buff, besides trying to cover up any like mistakes you've done, instead of just focusing on the set that you have right now.
Yeah,
It's just kind of a really rude gesture to bring out these gloves.
and I mean it's kind of the same thing with the shoes if you think about it.
I would agree on that too. The Troubadour hat was really well where it is, and like I said before, I think it's always considered as a best in slot and a must requirement because how much it provides was so much. But then the boots did more. It did amazing. It did even twice as much, even though it's just 10% more. It's just, it wasn't needed. It wasn't asked for. The Troubadour hat by itself was fine, and they kind of just released these
But
2 pieces.
Now we all need to update to them.
Yeah,
And
The boots are a bit nuts because like you can actually put the red circle under like donut on elite and it does 1 damage.
yeah, like
But that's the thing.
right.
What, did anyone ask for it? Was the hat not a-okay and fine by
was
itself?
that not good enough?
Yeah.
Were the gloves not good enough? Or was Trombador body not good enough?
Yeah,
And
I'm
that-
obviously fine with that.
And that's what sucks about it. That's what really is miserable about this gacha. It's not even the body. The body, honestly, really clean, really cool, really awesome. Honestly, a set that
Yeah.
should be, honestly, be more friendly to other sets about. It honestly has a really great set effects, and I think a lot of people are kind of underwhelming it. It doesn't even need the plus 100 magic attack, to be honest with you. The amount of recovery is really big by itself, and absorption as well. But the Divine Hat is okay too. I'm not gonna even fight it, to be honest with you. I know a lot of people say it's great. Personally, my experience, it's quite awful. But I think the shoes and the gloves were honestly kind
They're
of a
power
dick
creep
move.
items.
Yeah, they're just
Like-
power creep items that were not really needed.
Like people like to complain about like this power creep in this game with like new weapons, but like this gacha power creep, like it's absolutely miserable.
Yeah, there's 3 huge damage increase. Well, 2 survivability, actually 3 survivability, and then stronger buffs
I do
just
agree.
from 1 gacha.
I do agree that this gacha did allow Troubadour to be more affordable now to everybody.
Yeah. Trombador hat is
How-
more affordable because everybody wants like the better.
The better
Yes, yes.
versions. But however, here's the main issue of it being more affordable. It's the fact they're in the auction house now. They released it into the auction house, and it
Yeah.
allows anyone to get it. And I think that's the main issue here, is that it's now available to any player to catch inside the auction house. And now it's basically worth almost nothing just because of purely of a new pair of gloves and boots.
Yeah, which you can't get from that auction house.
Yep.
And I think the worst part about this is that the Troubadour hat wasn't even that expensive at the time. It was about like 100 mil. And the thing is, I know 100 mil to people is a lot, but at the same time, inside the auction house, I seen that Troubadour hat be sold around like 60 mil. Because I bought one for about 65 mil.
The fact that there isn't a chance to get the equipment, or even slightly less or equal in game, is a slap in the face. Yeah,
Yeah.
Where you at?
it's ridiculous. The armor is 80 mil now. Yeah, like all the Trombador gear is like significantly cheaper in price, and it's just nobody wants it because everybody wants the shiny new thing, and like the people that had it before are all just upset that now we need to re-roll enchants again.
Special orbiters right now, 33 mil.
Oh, Troubadour outfit is like 30 mil. Oh, are you talking
No,
about the
it's-
special Seraphic?
Troubadour Alpha is like 30 mil,
That's
and
right.
Seraphic is 80 mil.
Yeah, it's definitely 30 mil or
Yeah.
less.
It's
The
even
fact-
less if you're a male. The special
Yeah.
Seraphic for male is 23 right now.
Yeah. Seraphic is honestly really friendly. I'm not gonna lie. It's not even a power creep. It's not even like a destroyer of anything. It's honestly a really good option.
No, that's just good.
How much would a Lance charge
Oof.
cooldown 7 go for? Hard to say. About
Hard
above a
to
bill.
say. You need to find someone who would want to buy one.
Yeah.
Or who would even have one?
That's not a very common reforge.
It's like a bill plus reforge. It's really needed for Lance charge people.
Yeah, for those weirdos that really like Lance Charge. With Troubadour set, I'm guessing it's not a bad way for beginners / mid-tier players to get better equipment. So the problem with that statement is, for a beginner or a mid-tier player, all the Troubadour is giving them is 3 music buff effect, because they won't be able to afford Sonata, or they won't be able to afford Pure Whisper enchants to put on it. Whereas like Blanded Armor just has Encore on, which is just 3 music buff.
Mm-hmm. And it's also just better just to get solo on
Yeah.
your gloves and boots,
Yeah, and you can just throw solo on gloves and boots.
which is more music buff overall versus the Troubadour.
Mm-hmm.
So even for beginner and mid-tier players, I don't think folks will try to aim for those for the Troubadour. I know Troubadour is now cheaper and more accessible for people, but at the same time, I don't think this was the right direction to create those gloves and boots to make Troubadour cheaper. The auction house was honestly a really fine piece to add in Troubadour to make it cheaper and more sustainable and more of them getting into the game. But the new pair of gloves and boots just straight up just kind of just chucked them down. And I don't think that's what it was supposed to be doing. I also believe this set is not available in any other regions, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah,
this
this
not available is exclusive is in China as well.
Is it?
Chinese regions. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it came out there first.
Hmm.
I'm going to say I don't remember seeing this set anywhere at all.
Mm.
Hmm.
Like the Seraphic armor, good design. I like it. I would like to see that effect in more things or similar effects like it. Like they could very easily do one with like HP regen or something and throw it on something else. It would be really cool.
Make it in game, please.
Yeah, make it endgame.
You know, I have run a lot of dungeons since the whole dungeon rework update came out. I think to this day, I have never gotten a piece of the equipment you can build with the dungeon for the dungeon set.
They're refined. armors?
Refined?
Yeah, they were fine. I have never gotten one of those drops.
They're very
I
rare.
Dungeon you run.
Very
But
lucky.
yeah, they're pretty rare.
I also,
They're incredibly rare for their side effect values.
I also want to say a statement about music buff enchantments. There just has to be a lot more of them available.
Yeah, there does. We can't have best in slot all being gacha exclusive. Every single music buff of enchant is like gacha exclusive, isn't it?
Yeah. I think so, yeah. Allegros, Technical, Maestro, Pure. What's the other one?
Whisper. I guess the only ones that are exceptions are the enchants and the gloomy, which is like ensemble and chord.
But it's that's on the gloomy.
Enchants, which are
Yeah.
10-year-old weapon. Let's go.
A demonic
Yeah.
weapon.
but your entire Bard set's gotcha only.
Yeah.
I also find it funny you can red upgrade or blue upgrade your gloomy just so aesthetics. Just so I want mine to shine blue.
No. So you can activate exploit weakness while your instrument is out.
For that Discord damage.
I've got this single piece and I need 2 to even make a manual. Yeah. Like you have to get 2 of those things to get a manual and they're that rare. It's so annoying. And you have to get the same piece instead of getting like boots and then gloves or something, or then gloves and then body. You have to get both pieces of the same thing. And I think that's a
And it's
little
a pool of
ridiculous.
8, and it's male and female.
Hmm.
I'm still mad that they haven't fixed transformations too. It's like there's why Why haven't they? I want to transform, man. I want to have a reason.
Transformations are actually really strong. Like every single one of them are very good.
Yeah, but they haven't fixed the whole thing of your title changing.
The title changing isn't a big deal if you gear for it properly. The Echo Stones for transformation are actually really, really strong. People don't know about them or really use them, but they're really disgustingly powerful.
I don't want to hear that because I'm an infra black. What the best I can get is like, oh, I can get more strength. Wait, I'm already capping strength, so that's useless.
When we talk about second titles being gacha exclusive, yeah, there aren't very many free options for titles in this game.
Famas, I think, is the only thing.
Bombs, yeah. Red tainted matter and blue tainted matter and yellow tainted matter, I guess. All really good, but like
It's like 30 days, right?
it's 60 days. You can sustain them pretty.
Yeah, you can
At least I can sustain them. But like, it's hard content. I think gacha exclusive second titles are a little ridiculous.
I mean, there's also the whole pet thing. It's kind of hard for a new player. It's like, oh, you need like at least three.
I think currently they give a lot of free pets. I think there are enough free pets that you get.
No. Normal pets is not an issue. I'm talking about the pets. You know, whale pets.
Yeah, obviously there should be a free whale of some kind and a free phoenix. I think, and a free Twan. I think those are the three pets that they should give out free. But like, they give you like 3 or 4 bone dragons.
And
All right, with the dungeons.
And like they do release like Twans like free from events, yeah. But I think they should be like permanently in the dungeon guide. Like why cloud pets and not a Twan? And you get a free Murph, yeah, from the. You get free Murph from Bone Dragons and then Fire Marshal Dragon events. Yeah, they do have a lot of pet events. I think pet events are really good. We have one going on right now where you can get like a cheap tuplets, I think, and Fire Dragons, which are really good. Or Ice Dragons, not Fire Dragons, my bad. And so like I think pets are fine. I think pet gachas I'm completely fine with.
I think pet gachas need a rework. I dislike how many of them still have the really outdated pets that most players don't really need.
I'd honestly say Nexon has been very giving with pets. I'll assume you meant very giving with pets. Yeah, I think they're very fair with the amount of free pets they give away, even with
gachas are pretty nice.
Yeah, even with like them releasing pet gachas. I think certain pets should just be in the web shop though. I see no reason for food trucks, Murs, or food trucks, Twans, and Bones and Murs not to be just like always in the NX shop.
Agreed.
I feel the same with partners as well.
Yeah, as well as partners.
Yeah, we almost forgot about the partners. I think partners should be always in there.
You shouldn't have to wait 1.5 years for a partner sale to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little ridiculous. But yeah, second titles are kind of an issue. I was using, like I think how we were talking earlier, for when our dog game my Glen group cleared hard mode, I was using a 17 max title. That was the anniversary title. Let's see what it was called.
Oh my god, this is kind of fun.
I was using the 14th anniversary title.
I'm using the 15th anniversary.
And like, come on, there's got to be better second title options than that. Like, what free second titles are there in the game realistically? Like, is this
add whale to Glen in the dungeon guide? Yeah, that'd be honestly a good thing right there.
the pity pet gacha? Yeah, there's pity in the pet gacha. Yeah. So like the gachas are pretty fair.
The pet guy?
Some would find is because of thin in for inventory and time, but that's all the summits. I think pet gachas are one of the most generous gachas they have. I think the rates are all really good, and they have a pity system built in for you to get the new pet. Like, they're really good, and they're really fair. I think they feel really good to get. Because whenever I buy pet gachas, I know I'm never losing. Because even if I do get like garbage, I'm still kind of happy with it because I can like fin sync it, get more summon time, stuff like that. It's always nice.
In fin sync,
and you're always getting the pets cheaper than you would if you just bought pets from the next shop.
Yeah.
Like they feel real
They
good.
usually have a metal sale whenever they
Yeah.
have a pet gotcha.
And metal sales are good too. Let's see. Yeah.
I think we're getting off topic from the
Yeah,
Shadow
we
Wars
are.
stuff.
I think we should be done with the Shadowist topic now and like maybe talk about progression, gear progression more.
Gear progression? Okay.
Wasn't that one
Do
of
we
the
want to
topics we
talk
had
on like
scheduled for the day?
certain skill types?
Yep.
Or
We were gonna talk about something about the gear progression in general, and then afterwards we'd be talking about the new Arcana stuff, because I'm pretty sure a lot of folks will probably be curious about that stuff.
Yeah, we can go more into depth about the new Arcanas as well after. And I think, yeah. So, gear progression. I think that for certain talents, the gear progression is really good, and for others, it's absolutely abysmal. So, for example, Revenant and Perseus weapons. Revenant to Perseus is a ginormous leap, currently. So, like, a Misty Red Gem is like 9 mil, and I think, Kraken Hearts are going up to like 400 mil right now?
is it that much right now? Damn.
Yeah, they're really expensive right now, and so like that's a really big leap. And it's the same thing for staves and like ruination weapons. To jump from like Celtic Druid staff to Demo staff is also massive. The jump from like Baffle Hunter to Demo Bow, massive. And like it's like the same thing in this like general like group of weapons. It's that there isn't a good in-between option, like 275 mil is the heart for the lowest right now. It must have gone down. I saw people buying hearts like last week for like 400. I know Doggy sold his clean Perseus knuckles for what, 500 mil recently?
Yeah, 500 mil.
Like a few days ago.
That's insane.
Like there's the demand for heart. I think 275 is. You could probably get more for it. Yeah, I think buying this Kraken heart and reselling it is actually a thing to consider for profit.
That's what I did.
When we look at the material drops for demo versus. What were you saying, Joker?
Yeah.
Okay, well, when we look at the material drops for demo versus Ruination, it's insane, yeah. Or Rev versus Perseus, yeah. They're both really crazy in terms of like they're cost effective or like how much they cost to upgrade. I think it's too big of a jump between like the two tiers of weapons. What do you guys think?
I don't even know where Ruination and Demo even sit in terms of progression.
We're obviously going to be sticking Ruination at the very end. It's just, they're just too good for what they are currently in the game. They're just really powerful for what they are in the game. And you would think that Nightbringer will be the one that will close the gap, but...
Nightbringer is like worse than Demo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what they're going to be doing later on, is that KR's going to be updating them, where Perseus weapons will intake all the stuff that the Nightbringers are right now, and the Nightbringers will be somewhat on the same line as Ruination. That's what we're hoping will happen.
I think that's what I'm hoping for too.
I am hoping actually that Nightbringer's stronger than Ruination.
That's the main issue right now. Do we really need more stronger weapons?
No, I don't think we do.
I don't think we do, but the amount of effort to make a Nightbringer weapon is ridiculous.
I do agree on that part.
I don't think they're that insane to get, personally.
Well, like, a Ruination I can make in a week if I actually grind it out.
Ruination is a lot easier to get, obviously.
A Nightbringer would take me, 3 months?
Yeah, something like that. But, like, I don't know, it still doesn't feel like it's that bad for, like, the best weapon that you're gonna get, because realistically, like, Saluna doesn't exist.
Dang, Dream, you can get a Ruination in 1 week? Teach me, because I've been trying to get one for the past half a year.
Yeah, I made 2. I made 1 for Uni, and I made 1 for Intensive.
How close are you to your Ruination, Joker?
Huh?
How close are you to Ruin?
I'm still 9 out of 16. I don't get drops. I run this consistently and I just keep getting dicked. It's like I'm literally getting enough money from just doing the dungeons to just straight out buy it because I just don't get the drops.
Yeah.
It's like I don't mind not getting for like a whole week. It's like okay, it's understandable. But it's like it's been a month and I haven't gotten a single mat. It's like I don't mind that much, but then I see people. It's like, oh, I got 5 mats in one day. I was like, oh, I wish I was you, man.
Mm-hmm. I sold all my ruination mats so I can pay back Doggy. Dang, we have like the circle of debt going on here. I swear.
I don't know.
That's how the Giga Light works.
Evie says, I don't think KR would make Nightbringer bow and staff stronger or equal to our ruination, and I can agree. I think ruination is too strong, and if you go anywhere stronger than ruination, it's just a lie.
I want them more like a side grade than anything else.
I mean, there's Soluna.
I want them to be basically like a kind of like a trade-off, because right now, ruination bow is really great for crash shot, right? It's really powerful for crash shot. It's its spread is kind of insane, and its damage is quite insane because of its magma shot enhancement. But I would love to see the crossbow do something a lot better with like arrow revolver, because obviously we saw that they tried to make arrow revolver competitively versus magma shot. That's an obvious statement. That's an obvious seed. That was an obvious update what they were trying to do, and I think they can honestly try it out, and I think that's what the Nightbringer should probably do and provide, is that they will try to versus ruination bows with like other side enhancements. And I think they tried to do that, but obviously it kind of flopped because due to their, enchantments purely from data, damage output purely from, the piercing itself by itself. And honestly, I do somewhat agree that Nightbringers do take a little bit longer to create just because of that time limit on Crom. But at the same time, realistically, if that time limit wasn't there for Crom, I probably would be creating Nightbringer weapons every single week too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'd be doing nothing but Crom 100s. I would rather than basically have Demo to be current Nightbringer stats and Nightbringer be the current ruination stuff. So actually, currently, I think a Demo is pretty similar in terms of power to current Nightbringer. At least on the staff end. I don't know too much about the bow because the bow obviously you're missing out on the mag set effect and like the other stuff like that. But it's actually one in Final Shot pretty comparable, I think.
Speaking of Magic, I also kind of wish they changed the whole thing because Magic can also be quite a bit annoying in party play.
They're changing that with the newer Mage Arcana. We'll talk about that later.
Yep.
Yeah, Dark Mage is something.
Evie says the progression was maybe like Tex get Demo / Ruin / do Theta, and then do Theta at that time period, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the whole point of like the demolition and ruin weapons was to do data with them. It's just because data doesn't exist in KR. Crom is inside this really weird spot for us right now for NA, where it can't be stronger than data, but it can't be weaker than Tex.
Yep.
Because they obviously want Tex to be weaker than Crom, because they went out of their way to make Crom stronger than Tex. They're now bullet sponges, and they're really hard to take on. We will talk more about Dark Mage when it comes to Crom, and why they did those changes to it. But as of this moment, they definitely want Crom to be inside basically the N tier of N tier, and for Glenn to compare Glenn armor to go well with the Nightbringer weapons. And I think that's why, personally, I think Nightbringer weapons should be in the same tier as Ruination, as a side upgrade. And then allowing the tech weapons, which will be Pierceus weapons, to basically be the new Nightbringer weapons that we have, which are basically the demolition weapon tier.
Yeah, it's pretty much just the Pierce is the difference between Demo and Nightbringer, which I think is pretty comparable.
Yeah, because I think that's what they're honestly going for. Where Crom is the hardest content, and it provides weapons, and Glenn is the hardest content that provides armor. And I think they're trying to combine them together into this like Nightbringer tier. But Nightbringer tier for us is basically below Demolition.
Yeah. Like, that's the problem. Korea isn't taking into account demo run just because it's not on their server. It's none of their. They don't
None of
have
their
anything to
business.
do with it. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's why I think the new Arcanas is somewhat worrying, just because we have Ruination. And they're not balanced for
Extremely
having
worrying.
Ruination.
Hmm.
What was that? 20% extra damage that we get?
A lot of extra damage.
Yeah. Oh, and then tri-element too.
Well, you also have to consider for bow, the arrow is disgusting, as well as the fact that you get last breath on it. You get more piercing than the Nightbringer crossbow on it.
No, I don't have a Discord for my server.
I think they're in the woods.
I mean, a Discord for my Twitch. There's kind of no reason to.
We're just here.
Yeah.
I also kind of wish they did a little bit more with Ninja in terms of gear progression too.
We talked about that when it came to weapons.
I think they're doing something with that with the Perseus weapons, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Which
Like
we'll
all-
probably see in another week or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping they finally release the Nightbringer upgrades and we can make more better decisions when that pop up.
Mm-hmm.
Because this has to be either the make or break for Nightbringer weapons. Especially for NA. Because you gotta understand, if Korea doesn't respect the fact that these weapons exist, because I know they're right now completely ignoring them, but they also have to realize if they don't respect these weapons, they can completely just... People from Taiwan, people from NA, can completely just not do Crom at all.
People from JP too.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much everyone's just going to be Dark Mage.
Like, it just looks way too strong.
Mm.
It looks fun. That's what I wanted mostly. I can be like, oh, I can be
So
edgy. I
much
can finally be my Sword Art Online arc. I can finally be Kirito, the Dark Swordsman, the magic.
So, obviously right now, when it comes to tier progression, and I know some people will argue with this because it is kind of odd for some weapons, but we're going to just use the standard sword upgrade path, which obviously everyone will agree with this. It's going to be NPC weapons, demonic weapons, Celtic weapons, royal Celtic weapons, divine weapons, and then demolition weapons or revenant weapons, and then Nightbringer, and then Ruination. But let's talk about how realistic that tier list is, however, instead. Because we can honestly knock out a lot of stuff out of this tier list, which we all can agree with. What would be
You
better
can
to
already
manage now?
skip demonic with the Blana gear.
Yep.
Yeah. So like, I think honestly, what the gear progression ends up looking like. Let's go for example like melee, like for sword. It's probably you go like blanded weapon into like a frosted borealis or like a fanatic greatsword, and then maybe you get a divine blade, and then you finish off with Nightbringer if that.
Mm-hmm.
Even. Will it be better make now run bow or staff? It's really up to you which one you would like to do better. I would look into both Arcanas to see which one you like.
Yeah,
The
Both are
playstyle will
viable
help more,
options.
but both are viable options.
both are really great.
If you're a human, you have to factor in the fact that you won't be able to mag off cooldown unless you get ERG 50S. But other than that, they're both really good options.
Both really strong right now. Both really friendly.
Yeah.
I think only Giants have a different upgrade path because they actually have decent other swords they can build.
I don't think that's true at all.
I
think
haven't
the path is the
touched a
same.
Baffle Slayer. No way.
Baffle Slayer is good if you
That thing's
Don't
so
plan on-
expensive to make.
it's cheaper than a D-blade.
You gotta understand, Dream. The broken blade is right now is 80 mil. That's kind of insane.
Yeah, it's definitely cheaper than a D-blade, and you get one more pierce. It's just that your enchant is going to be more expensive. But if you put a 67th on a Baffle Slayer, you can use that as a weapon until you get your Nightbringer, and then you can burn the 67th off and put it on the Nightbringer.
It's a sad thing to burn off weapons for the enchants.
That's not that bad.
But like, let's be realistic about like what weapons that people would get. As you can see, we already skipped so many of them. We basically just skipped the demonics. We skipped Celtic tier. We're on the royal Celtic when it comes to Gagashi weapons and the Frost Borealis. I consider those as Celtic royal tier, by the way, because
I think they're about there in terms of power level.
yeah, just because of where they are, I'm not gonna consider them as any different tier, just purely because Frosted Borealis weapons are basically what they are. Basically, the Celtic royal variant, and the Gagashi weaponry are basically the Celtic variant as well, because they all have the same upgrades and they also provide the same special upgrades. By the way, Gospel Cylinder does exactly the same thing as the Celtic Tetra one, if anyone knew that.
Yeah.
However, you can see that we kind of just went from there to Divine Weapon, and then just completely skipped everything to a Nightbringer weapon. And that's a really large jump, there's nothing in between. And that's what Perseus would do. This is what the biggest thing about Perseus would do for us. But the thing is...
it adds up between Divine Blade and like Nightbringer, which I think is really good.
Yeah.
And I think they're buffing, or they're adding like new ways to get Celtic weaponry in like theater mission things for free. So like you'll have permanent access to a rental weapon, which I think is really good for new players as well. So you might even in the future be able to skip out on like that Frosted Borealis or Fnatic tier, and then think about like going straight into a divine weapon. Oh yeah, obviously the Fnatic and the Frosted Borealis blades are insane. Very good weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very cheap, very cost effective.
Very friendly, very beginner friendly too. Very mid tier. Divine Blade is kind of a somewhat big jump.
I think it's a big jump that isn't really that important.
Yeah.
Like obviously, I think that the increase between Frosted Borealis and Divine Blade, it's literally only 3 pierce from the suffix, because you're not enchanting 67th floor if you have a Frosted Borealis, right?
Yep. You're also not getting a lot more max out of it too. I think that's the main issue what people get about the Divine Blade, by the way, is that people are expecting it to gain more max damage, when realistically, you're just getting it for its AoE splash and its extra piercing.
And the smash enhancement.
Yeah.
Final hit will kill you in a lot of cases now for endgame content.
Yeah.
I think the splash is, yeah. And I think people are just kind of not liking the D-Blade for that main reason. But it is somewhat of a big jump, however. As much as I dislike that, I think it's not even purely because of people pricing it for that much. I think it's purely because how annoying it is to get those materials, which comes back to the exclusion of people needing to run purifications once we get that drop update. And honestly, it looks like a better progression system now, because I don't think you want to see people doing purifications with like Celtic weaponry. I think you'd be seeing them with like a Frosted Borealis and stuff, which is generally where people should be. What I mean by Celtic weaponry, I mean just not upgraded or anything like that. They're just bland Celtic weaponry or like demonic weaponry. You don't want to see those people running purifications just because, that'd be too harsh for them. That'd be too punishing. But people with like Celtic royal weaponry, tier lists, it looks like a really good fit for doing purifications. They would take obviously immense amount of damage because there's no armor in that tier list besides for giants. And I think it's really friendly to introduce into the divine weaponry, but as of this moment, it's kind of a big jump.
Yeah. Evie says they need pierce suffix options as well, even if it's exclusive to Perseus or something. I can agree. Pierce enchants are very rare. There's only Meteoroid and 67th floor. And those are like the only 2 options. Like, sure, Corb exists, but realistically Corb doesn't exist because it's only 1 pierce.
And it's kind of crazy that Gacha enchant from... Is it almost 8 years or 9 years?
It's 9 years old.
9 years.
9 years old is still one of the best in slots.
Yeah.
Creepy Hunter older and best in slots still.
What is Evie saying? Hopefully, I think the jump between divine weapons and Celtic royal weapons is massive, though, in terms of investment for what you get.
The thing is about the two-handed enchant is that I don't think people actually suspected them to work on staffs because staffs have their own category of enchants. I'm pretty positive they completely forgot that 67 can be applied to staffs.
Well, they didn't need to even worry about it. Meteoroid was in the game already.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they completely forgot about it or they just completely went over it because, yeah, Illusion is a really good example of why they completely forgot. But then I started thinking about it because it was released in Taiwan. I don't think they had the SAO released in their server.
Yeah, so it's probably just Meteoroid, but even Meteoroid, you know, it's big.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think they just completely didn't know that 67th was even a thing. When it comes to creepy haunteds, they're not inside Korea, so they're not really doing gear progression enchants towards it. I think the best enchants for Korea right now is
Like Fantastic or Brainstorm. It's Brainstorm like Gamer? No, Brainstorm.
Brainstorm game.
I think it's Brainstorm Gamer, but I think a lot of them run Brainstorm Taurus.
something like that.
Oh, for the 3 prot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's just some of our exclusive items are really high and really steadily where they are, and we can't really make a gear progression for those things. Just it's not because
Like, how do you make
it's
gear
gacha.
like progression for gacha
Yeah.
when like we end up not getting like creepy haunteds for like a year or two, and then they're spiked up to like 600 mil for a haunted enchant.
Dude,
And we can't do that. We can't just put gear progression
No.
on gacha equipment.
No, gacha equipment shouldn't be part of like the gear progression.
And I think that's what the main issue is when it comes to those enchants or like exclusive like equipments. And that's what comes back to the basically the BFO gloves and Troubadour boots, where it just was basically a big middle finger to a lot of players because Troubadour has finally been released to the auction house for free to play to finally
Hmm.
be purchasable. It brought down Troubadour really from a high point because they used to be like 300 mil just for the body, and when it was released in the auction house, it brought it down to 100 mil by itself. And it didn't even came out into the auction house that day, by the way. It's just the acknowledgement of knowing that Troubadour is now available to free to play is what really brought it down. And that's honestly what's something that makes the game more healthy, is that it's acknowledged by player base that they know they can gain it now. But stuff like that, 67th floor and like creepy haunteds, spooky eerie's, are not available to the player base and only gacha exclusive. We can't put them inside a tier list, let alone mark them as saying it's exclusively best in slot kind of deal, without acknowledging that it's just too expensive or just simply just really just out of the way gacha versus what you have right now. And we just can't simply just put it inside the tier list like that. We can't just put it just simply like, we will acknowledge it as best in slot, but we just can't put it as like a tier where you have to make this jump for it. That would just make no sense, and people would just simply just look at it and say, hey, instead of spending cash on these other tiers, I could just save up and gain that tier. And I think that's really unfriendly and really unhealthy for the game to do that.
You'll be limiting yourself too much.
Yeah.
But for that, such a big jump is like, no, you're hurting yourself doing that. You're on basically you're saying, I want to suffer for 5 months instead of just progressively get better gear and enjoy myself because I'm gonna have to replace the gear. It's like, yeah, but you can always sell the gear. It's not like the gear is completely useless. You can sell it whenever you have upgraded from it. But
And that's the main issue with those type of enchant from gacha, and that's the main issue what gacha has been doing. But at the same time, it's more friendly that they bring out more sets that provide other stats and side effects. Like, don't get me wrong, Glen Armor is a really nice introduction. It's a really friendly introduction to the player base. However, armor sets that are like Lane Chaser, who have attack speed, right? Out of nowhere, like within a few years, Saint Guardian was released, And look what happened to Lane Chaser.
Yeah. Useless other than for its signature.
Yep.
Mhm.
But then more stuff that are exactly just like Saint Guardian started bringing it down. And now it's more available than ever. Attack speed is now more available than ever. There's enchants for it as well. There's reforges for it as well. There's just a lot of stuff for it now. And it just, honestly, it just makes attack speed just one of those things where it's just a casual thing now. It's no longer this like gacha exclusive thing or like really hard set to get. And honestly, they should be doing that a lot more often and allowing more options for the player base to gain these set effects or like enchants or something similar to it like they did to titles once with the Erring Spirits. But obviously, you know, now with the new second titles, they're kind of backing out of that. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But when it comes to gear progression itself, we just can't acknowledge that those items
I
are
think
there, but we do need to just respect them as something as a side.
I think another issue is, as far as like gear progression goes, I think that there aren't enough resources on like what parts you want to get first. Just because like a lot of the math is really annoying and complicated, so people just don't do it. Like I see a lot of people like they start getting everything for like their mage gear, right? So they start enchanting all their mage gear, they get their special elemental harmony, they get all of it enchanted, they get all the reforges on it, and then they're still using a Celtic Druid staff.
Mhm.
When they would have been better off like just building like the demo staff instead, or just building the ruin staff instead. And
I
it's
feel-
like a lot of people just don't know what pieces they need to be getting first before anything else to make the set usable. And like there isn't a whole lot of information out there. Like Cryozen's Best in Slot Guide, it's really good. Like don't get me wrong, it's good at telling you what's like the absolute best. But in terms of like progression goes, like it's not only about like the weapon, because I think he has progression on there, but it's only for the weapon. Let me double check.
And don't get me started on the dungeon guide. You look at the dungeon guide and you're like, man, this is how I'm supposed to progress from defeating the Shadow Wizard into hard mode dungeons, into Valtanes and MA, which honestly makes sense. But then you kind of start going backwards when you get into like Pick a Abyss Lords now, and then more vet dungeons. And that's kind of backwards, and then you go to Magmill. That's like a jump from, you know, doing a vet dungeon to Magmill. And then you're like, wow, Magmill is really easy. And then you kind of end up with Pick a Dungeon, which Pick a Abyss is behind that, by the way. For some reason, Pick a Dungeon vet is above that. And then you kind of just question it again, like, wait, am I supposed to be doing vet dungeons or Magmill? And then Magmill is in between, like Magmill Intermediate to Tech to Magmill Hard. And then you kind of just like start doing that stuff, and then out of nowhere it slaps you with Rabbi Phantasm at the very end, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Magmill doesn't really offer progression as well, other than pets, but yeah.
Well, like it doesn't show you like what you need to be running at any given skill level, and I think that the thing they use to recommend things is really, really bad. Because like they're recommending it based off of your base max attack, and like I don't think that
Which is
paints the full
horrible.
picture. Yeah.
Just looking at the dungeon guide.
But like it's really difficult to know what armors and like what reforges are the most important first,
Yeah, so
without like talking to somebody.
if I just went off that, it would just say I could run Phantasm barehanded.
When I pull my sword out, it tells me that there's nothing available for me to run.
Let me see what mine says.
Yeah, I agree. Rabbi Phantasm is a lot easier than Fed Badass. I will agree
Yeah.
there.
I can agree with that too.
I think the fact that it's at the very end, but Dream, you can run fat barehanded. True. But the fact it's asking us to do it at the very end, it's a tier below data. It's just kind of insane to think.
But it still shouldn't be recommending me Phantasm barehanded. Like, it needs a better recommendation than that.
Yeah. And like we can't even consider theta as a thing because theta's,
Doesn't exist.
doesn't exist.
I'm kind of lazy on that, and I don't do my thetas.
I think that's all I have to say on progression, though. I hope Perseus weapons are a lot easier to obtain than demo.
I really hope so, and then it would give us another option for actually doing text for money. Which, I mean, it's not bad right now with all the ruination and demo stuff, but...
I mean, that's what Pierce's weapons are going to be doing, is that they're going to be offering all that.
Yeah. So I'm all for that.
I also think that they're heavily underutilizing raids too.
I
What do you mean underutilizing?
don't think they're utilizing it.
Because it's true that raid helps you a lot when it comes in terms of erg. I mean more of like half of the materials you can get from the raids, you don't really use them. I mean, for the dragons you do because of baffle and basically erg material that you have to sacrifice. That's fine, but Moko and Sylvan, they have materials that they have no use pretty much.
Yeah, you have the materials for Alban Rome, and that's about it. But like, I wouldn't even call that materials. And then obviously they have like the divine weapon things, but like, you don't get any of the important ones there.
I would definitely just put like at least an armor set that you can craft using those body parts, or like a weapon set. It's like you guys have materials that you can add to the pool. I mean, that's already in the pool. You just have to add the armor to build it. Because like Oku has the venom on the mats. It's like I can't do anything with this. Same as like the otherworldly essence too. It's like you build this whole entire skill set, divinity, this super cool thing, and yet nobody uses it.
Yeah.
Oh, do you actually get gear? It's like, yeah, but nobody uses this gear. People just throw it away immediately. It's like, wow. Sounds like a waste.
Let's just say that one video that we watched about throwing away gear is not a good recommendation.
Yeah.
We won't talk about what the video is, but
I probably shouldn't have just dropped things. If you put it on the auction house to check the price and it's not worth something, should probably look into more what it does.
probably look it up on the wiki, to be honest with you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That was a really bad recommendation.
What else? We want to talk about the new Arcanas?
The new
we
Arcanas.
We want to take a commercial break first?
Yeah. Let's take a commercial break real fast.
Commercial break.
Yeah.
Okay, water and stuff.
Is that and stuff.
I'm gonna walk my dog then. Alright, be right back.
Alright. Alright,
Yeah, I'll be back.
We'll be taking a short commercial break. We're going to be talking about the new Arcanas and... yeah.
Yeah. This short commercial break was brought to you by Nos's Rhythm Game.
Nos's Rhythm Game. Shadow Wizard Game.
What's it called?
Pulses.
Pulses.
Shadow Wizard Money Gang. Hosted by the Shadow Government.
Mabinogi.
Nom nom nom. Ow. Bees make honey.
Let me turn in all these things.
This person that Geo is said this posted ad is only 160p. Not convincing enough to play. Geo.
Wow. Can't believe her. How rude. Oh man, oh man. Can't wait to talk about the new Arcana because I hear a lot of talk about, Dark Mage this, Dark Mage that. It's like, wasn't there 2 Arcanas? What happened to the other one?
We talk about that once everyone comes back.
Yeah.
We're still on the Pulse's ad break. Shush you.
Inconceivable. Man, these
Dream telling us to break the audio into different tracks.
Yeah, because they're hearing my Mabinogi audio and my Share X audio as well. I'm right here
Bro,
like, bro, I gotten this far. What do I
there's
change
there's a
anything?
reason why this is the first spill. There's a reason why it's a spill in general.
Breaking progress, go away.
You can't hear us talk. That's part of the spilling.
That's the whole point of it. It's
the stuff is part of the stream.
It's the spill.
We're all back. We're good to talk about the new Arcana now.
I think Dream's still not here.
I think Dream's still using the washroom.
Scuff ad break. I mean, I can talk about this numpad rhythm game called Pulsus. No, Dream is back. Saved.
No. Keep talking about your ad.
No, I'm not talking about Pulsus.
Wow. You're gonna let Nos down, though.
Pulses.
I know
Alright.
Doggy is static for the new change they did to Fusion Bolt.
Alright, Doggy, what do we want to talk about first? Alchemical Stinger or Dark Mage?
There's actually not a lot to talk about Alchemical Stinger, so let's talk about Alchemical Stinger first. Because there's
They nerfed the damage a little bit, was it? And then Crystal Count was down.
Yeah, Crystal Count is no longer 30, so that's
Yep, it's like 5 now, which I think is still a lot.
Yeah.
Alright, let's talk about... So, in my opinion, I've seen all the Alchemical Stinger skills, and I feel like the only one that actually stands out to me is the Hydro Pierce. Which is it's the blue shotgun in front of you that you can concentrate.
I kind of like the Fire Crash Shot, because you can pair Crash Shot and then Fire Crash Shot. It's kind of like the double windmill we have for EK. So it's like 4 hits of Crash Shot.
Yeah. But I feel like all of them are just like AoE skills.
Oh yeah.
And like it still seems like a lot of what you're gonna be doing is just mag shotting. And the thing is, I don't know how it's gonna compare, because the widths don't seem that big. But I think the widths also scale off crash shot range. So I'm curious to know if that scales off of Ruination Bow range as well. Or like the Ruination effects as well. I would imagine they do.
Better one hits that, right?
I would imagine they do. I also think that Alchemical Stinger has a lot going on with the Alchemic Synergy thing, where you have to select the 2 elements you want to combine, and I think that's a lot of remembering to do to remember what each synergy does, and which ones you want to use when.
Isn't there like 5 synergies, right?
There are 6 synergies.
6.
So you have to memorize
my
what.
1 on EK.
So you have to memorize all 6 of them.
Yeah.
Granted, 2 of them I think are pretty worthless because it's like a blind and a freeze.
Hmm.
But like all the other ones, like that's still 4 combinations you have to memorize.
Yeah, I feel it's just gonna be the case of EK where you just pick one and that's it.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, the abilities look cool. They look all very slow, which is
Kind of a bummer.
kind of sad. Especially when they have, as a link effect, giving you increased movement speed after using an alchemical stinger ability. Seems kind of weird. Its links, also, honestly, they're not very interesting either. They just buff the abilities. Which, I mean, I guess is cool, but like, there's nothing that really stands out for actual archery at all. Which is kind of a letdown. Yeah, there's like actually, like, you get 100 bow max, I guess. But that's really it. Oh, bonus damage based on enemy distance, I guess. So 15% bonus damage if you're really far away, but like, who knows if that beats out aiming, getting more aim speed.
Yeah, I don't know
I
about
have
that.
no idea.
It's kind of a weird spot right now. I just like how it looks. It looks really clean. Its damage output is pretty not bad.
Yeah, it looks fun. Don't get me wrong. It looks like it clears content really quickly.
Yeah. It's just
I think it's
so much information to take on.
because everyone is like, bow is too strong already, so they didn't go ham with it. You like the look of it. I think the thing about that is, we're talking about Korea, so they have Nightbringer Huntsman and Nightbringer Predator,
Yep.
and that's what they're balancing it around. And even then, I don't think archery is that strong with that setup. I could be wrong, but it just does not seem that amazing.
I feel it's got a pretty
AR
strong
still thinks
frame
bow is
rate.
really strong because of their ping. Yeah, their ping is the real like good part.
Yeah, and spam of mag.
Yeah, and that's not possible in NA like at all. So it's pretty. I think it's kind of bow is kind of doomed, but like I don't know. I think it's still really good. I think Ruination makes up for a lot of it. But I just don't know. I feel like the skills all just don't seem that interesting.
Wow.
I think there are also too many of them. It feels like. Like. With Elemental Knight, you know, you have like the 4 skills and then you have the 3 links. For Harmonic Saint, like, you have, it's just like heals. Like, most of them are healing abilities. Or like, pressing a button once and forgetting about it.
One debuff, very good debuff.
Or like, yeah, or 1 debuff.
No, Jack, don't
No.
redeem those.
I'm not complaining, memorize the combos is gonna be a bitch, and I was expecting 2 skills, not like 4 or so, yeah. Yeah, you have 5 skills and alchemical synergy as alchemical stinger. And it's a lot to memorize. Especially when I feel like a lot of them look like pretty similar.
Alright, fine.
Snake spam.
Let me get it up. Hang on.
You're gonna get the burgering thing up.
Yeah, people are trying to burger me.
Burger!
Burger.
Burger.
Ooh, Hasi soon. Ooh.
I guess Bo is brain dead as fuck, might make us think a little more.
That's a pretty good analogy. So brain that we might as well add some more complexity to it.
I mean, it's true, they press 1 button. Archery requires less brain cells than Mage does, and that's saying something. I forgot which one. Evie says I forgot which one. I think one of the skills had a backstep. Yeah, that's Tri Assault.
Mhm.
I can only
Wait,
see
I
it.
thought it was Hydro Pierce that does the knockback.
No, Evie is saying backstep. That means moving your character.
Oh.
I think Hydro Pierce does knockdown though because it is mag shot.
Yeah, hang on. I'm setting that up so you guys can start burgering me.
Burger.
Burger.
Baka!
Chat when he sets it up, burger.
Let's see.
Ah!
Oh, this Tri Assault skill can only be used once the attribute marbles are full, so you have to use like Golden Time or actually fill attribute marbles. That's kind of annoying.
don't see that one being used as much then.
It does a lot of damage, not gonna lie though.
It does a lot of damage, it's kind of awkward though. From what I've seen.
Yeah. You have to wonder if it's... I legit think it's more damage for you to mag shot like 4 more times than the time it takes you to try assault. Which is kind of sad. But it could be good to applying like the alchemical synergy dot on the final hit. Since it's like a 30% damage as a dot for 15 seconds, it could be good. I don't know.
Stack the earth dot with the tri-assault dot. Probably anything you hit with both of those is going to kill it though.
Well, bosses, I guess. That's the thing. Alchemical Stinger doesn't really have like a bossing ability.
Nitro Pierce.
What boss are you gonna stand there and channel it for like 3 seconds?
Gate.
I mean, that would work in Clan. You have enough time.
I feel like if I sat there and charged that, the queen would have like already swiped and killed me. I don't know. It seems like a tall ass like charge it. 'Cause it seems like a pretty decently long charge time. But like for trash mobs, I think Alchemical Stinger looks really sick if you like using bows.
You just quick release. But they did nerf the range and the pierce distance, right?
I think so. I think they nerfed the damage as well.
Yeah, by 200%, which isn't much.
200% is a lot. 200% is a lot.
1800. It's still 1800. That's a lot of damage.
200% is a lot. What else is there? I think that's all I really have on Alchemical Stinger. I think it looks cool, but I don't think it's a super interesting ability.
Well, since we're talking on the range ones, do you want to talk on support shot?
Yeah, we can talk about support shot. I think support shot currently in its current state is kind of toxic. You essentially make one person not play the game because it's more effective for them to just shoot support shots, and it ends up being less effective for people to use any other skill besides like melee skills.
Sure.
Oh my god, it's VTuber Doggy.
Every time you guys mention support shot, I just imagine Hasi. It's like when death mark people use all of the debuffs because they forgot to death mark. Make me laugh.
You think Bow Arcana is going to be It Just Works Arcana? Yeah, I mean, it's an Arcana. I think it's a good Arcana. I think all the Arcanas are good and are going to continue to have their place. Like, I don't think that just because we're getting 2 new ones that Elemental Knight and Harmonic Saint are going to be bad. I think Harmonic Saint is absolutely disgusting still. And, like, you're still going to want to have one. And I think Elemental Knight's damage is, like, really, really good still. Like, you still can't get anywhere close to those damage values that EK can get to.
I'm actually curious if we can stack Stampede and Rage Impact on a support shot now with that change.
You can. You already could before.
I know, but like easier.
I mean, you just Rage Impact Stampede. It's still the same thing.
Yeah.
It can already have a support shot.
You think it'd be worth it to get Stampede gloves then?
Probably not, no.
Why not?
I don't think it applies to Elemental Knight skills.
Stampede? I thought it's just melee.
It says close combat skills, I thought. Of the next close combat skill.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's definitely not worth using. What are your thoughts on Alchemical Stinger, Doggy?
I think Alchemical Stinger is honestly in a weird spot, to be honest with you. Because right now, Alchemical Stinger, like you said earlier, is a great trash mod cleaner. And it does pretty well for that. But like, other stuff, like legitimately clear up faster too, like Crash Shot, Magma Shot. They do that job pretty well as well, but then you go to bosses, and you're just right there kind of just chilling and being like, bro, I can hit that.
Yeah.
And then you kind of sit there. I do like the fact that they did change the 30 crystal requirement, because, bro, I was like joking around saying, man, I need to get like 2 black bags just to get all these alchemy crystals. And the sad part is I actually was watching a streamer with it, and they had exactly 2 a black bag and the star bag just filled with alchemy crystals, and I was like, no, please. I was just joking. Why is this being a legit thing? I like the change for it. I think Alchemical Stinger is actually in a fine spot. I think it can definitely get improvements. It needs more. How can I say this about being like straight up upgrading it? I think it needs more better burst potential than just one big burst potential.
Yeah.
Why don't they a shotgun? The closer you are, you can hit multiple times one unit with the spread shot.
Yeah, I think that's what they were trying to go for, but then that Golden Time one was kind of pretty
Yeah, the Golden Time one is kind of meh. It's just a little too slow, I think.
Yeah.
I think if the animation was faster, it'd be a really good skill. But it just doesn't have, like, a time shift ability is what it really is, right?
Yeah, and other skills are time shiftable right now, like everything in Dark Mage, everything inside. Same
Like
Bard, besides
no.
Bop and Pal.
And Repel. But, like, you also got Elemental Knight with Lightning Smash.
Yeah.
So, like, they all have, like, their burst window skill where you hit that time shift and you just smack the abilities down. But, like, you can't do that with Alchemical Stinger. Like, you're gonna try to do that with Triad Assault, and what, you're gonna have to Golden Time? Like, every time, so you, like, sacrifice, like, so many time shifts of doing it. But you get half as many shots off, or abilities off. Or, like, what? I think, like, the only other option is to, like, time shift the Hydro Pierce and, like, I don't know.
That's just a bummer, you know? You just feel like it's basically going back to the spot where Chainblade has, where just too many skills kind of just root you, or just too slow animations, and you really don't want that for Arcana. Like, a good example is Ellie Knight. Ellie Knight feels smooth. Ellie Knight makes you, like, jump, leap, and then get off.
Yeah.
And
Ellie Knight animations are really long, don't get me wrong, though.
Yeah, some of them are really long, like the windmill one, but it allows you to cast another windmill, like, immediately and just move.
Yeah, you can weave in Dauntless to anti-cancel, though, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, and I think Alchemical Stinger just doesn't have that, and it just kind of places you in the spot for too long, and you're kind of just chilling there, or it pushes you backwards for some reason. Let's not remind the main issue of Flash Launcher.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, Flash Launcher is definitely a skill, okay?
I feel like
it sure loves standing stuff for 3 seconds.
I just feel like Hydro Pierce is the only ability that stands out without Chemical Stinger.
I like a Chemical Stinger overall, but it's just, like, there's just really some stuff inside of it that shouldn't be there in the first place. And it's just feeling like more like a downgrade.
I also feel like all of their abilities look very samey.
Also, it's a lot of information to take in. It's a lot of information to take in.
Yeah, just memorizing what all the elemental combinations do is a lot, I think.
Ow.
Do we talk on...
I feel it probably will be good for bosses later down the line that they're probably planning.
Yeah. I assume there is going to be a need for, like, that kind of AoE damage. Eventually. Should we talk about Dark Mage?
Yeah, like I said, a Chemical Stinger doesn't really have too much to talk about. I definitely think we have a lot more when it comes to Dark Mage. So
Dark Mage.
Let's talk about a Dark Mage. And the first thing I'm going to say about Dark Mage, it's too much.
It's too much damage.
It looks like it can do too many things too.
It's not even utility based. It just does so much. And one ability, you would think it'd be more utility based because of how magic is, but no, instead it's just doing everything.
Yeah.
You have EK.
Pulls
That's like
everything, kills everything,
Yeah,
slows it, breaks
slows it.
protection, breaks armor.
Yeah, it does everything.
it
Oh
does everything.
yeah, it locks magic abilities.
We won't even talk about that one, to be honest.
I think
That one needs to be fixed, to be honest with
they
you.
they changed it.
Oh, okay.
I thought they made it a duration one instead of single use.
Yeah, and it refunds Dorka now.
No.
That's even more OP, Lothara. How's it fixing it?
I think they made certain things resistant to it. I think.
Like
And
I hope
I
I
thought
fix Irusan on that, because Irusan shouldn't be locked like that.
I think Irisana still be able to get locked like that.
what?
Oh,
But
no.
I think it only makes it not be able to use the laser because they're still trying to walk up and smash.
Smash.
And it was still teleporting around.
Whoosh.
What I saw. Okay. Should we talk about the skills in order though? Then.
Yeah.
Actually, let's go through the more passive skills first.
Alright.
So let's talk about the mana pierce. So the up to 3 piercing. That consumes Dorcha while it's active. I think this is a really fair ability.
I think
the fact that it consumes Dorcha and isn't always active is a really good gameplay mechanic.
Yeah, I think that one's honestly fine. A lot of people think it's really ridiculously OP, but I think it's A-okay for what it is.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's not something that's always up. You have to manage Dorka.
Yeah,
I think it's fine.
yeah.
Next, property converter Dorka. So they changed this one earlier today. Or yesterday, and they made it so it restores 5 Dorka instead of 1.
Which is good.
It consumes 50, and then they increased the amount of MP it costs to cast from 50 plus 5% of max MP, and they increased it to 50 plus 20% of max MP, which is fine.
Yeah.
And then they slapped a 30-second cooldown on it, I think,
Which
which I think is good.
yeah, which is good because people were just spamming that and then just keep recovering it.
I don't think having infinite Dorka is good. I think being able to have to manage it is really good. So I think I'm fine with that.
Speaking of Dorka, since we're on the elemental mage, so if Dorka is gonna be a consumption skill, let's go back to the whole reforging. Now that not reforging, I mean the erging, erg A. Isn't Chain way better to just get it erg A to level 50 than just go with S? Since you kind of just want the Dorka gaining, or am I wrong with that?
I mean, you get more Dorka gain with S, but I don't think you necessarily would pull out your chain ever.
Yeah, because you will regain more Dorka from just casting your spells alone.
Because you get Dorka from spells.
Mhm.
Oh,
You get a lot of Dorka too.
Yeah.
Just exchange even more not usable. So
okay. The next is property converter mana. This is the convert mana into. This is the
Dorka into
convert.
mana.
This is the convert Dorka into mana, and reduces the mana cost of spells for a bit. I think this is fine.
Right?
I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, I don't think they changed anything about it.
Yeah, I don't think they did either. I think it's a fine ability. I can't think of many situations you would use it, but like, I can see like maybe a time for a burst window where you want to conserve more mana, so you activate this to conserve mana while you spam your spells, like during a time shift or something.
I think it should consume more Dorka though.
I think one Dorka is fine.
No, I think it should consume more Dorka because you sacrifice mana to get more Dorka, right? You get 5 of them, but then you use that bit immediately, right? And then you get the MP reduction on top of it.
Well, it's only really for the MP reduction. You only get 100 mana from it, and it has a cooldown. You cannot use this multiple times.
Yeah, I know, but I just wanted to just, with the MP reduction on top of it, maybe it should also take more Dorka than just 1 itself. I think 2 would be fine, to be honest with you, since you can be recovering.
I think 2 would be. Yeah, I think 2 would be fine, but I also think 1 is fine for 20% mana reduction.
20 mana
cost
pretty
reduction.
decent.
It's pretty decent, but like I don't think you're gonna be eating that much mana.
Yeah.
It's kind of a meh one, to be honest. I don't know how much it's gonna be used.
I'll probably abuse it. I'm not gonna lie. Negative 20 mana sounds pretty good for my book.
Mm-hmm. All right. What one do we want to talk about next? Well, I guess
The +1 to 2 casts.
That's Link. We can talk about Link after.
Okay.
Explosive lunge. So this is the fireball one where you shoot out like this line from you to the target, and it blows up everything around it and like things slightly behind it. So they did make it so it's like an AoE around it actually now, I think, instead of like a line.
So does it just target the one thing now?
I think so, and then it blows up around it.
Oh.
I believe. I believe that was a change they made because it being a line was pretty unintuitive.
Yeah, I can imagine people just like lining up the zombies.
Yeah, but I think this is a fine skill. It feels like a mage version of Lightning Smash, and I think it's good. I think its Dorka cost is good, and I think its cooldown is good too. It's a 10-second cooldown, and I think that's good.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Next one is the lightning chain, right? Or is it
Yeah.
a snowstorm?
Lightning Chain.
Lightning chain.
So they made a change to Lightning Chain where it now does not cancel when your target dies, and it will instead jump to the next target.
Which is good. I think that
But-
was the main issue with it. is
And
that-
I believe they also made it so that it reduces the target's mana protection by 50%.
What?
Yeah, it's
Let me go read the Korean patch notes real quick.
I don't know about that one.
it was a lot. I'm pretty sure. I thought it was 30% though.
Isn't magic like one of the most popular talents in Korea?
It's
Sure
one of
is.
the most popular talents in the game. During the duration of Lightning Chain, bolt magic damage inflicted on enemy increases. I think this is old patch notes. Hang on. No? Let's see. Dark Mage Arcana mana blockade bug that prevents enemies from attacking other than magic has been fixed.
Good.
Let's see. Why can't I find it? Is this the new one?
New one. Ah.
I think they made it reduce some defense. I don't remember what it was, how much it was. I can't find it. So maybe I'm wrong in that one. But I think overall the skill does a lot of damage. It's a lot of single target damage. I think
Yeah.
it's kind of ridiculous.
I think it's really powerful. I like how it now jumps to a new target whenever it kills something, but at the same time, it's really powerful by itself.
Yeah, I mean it with the link, which I expect everything to be based on what it is at like Link 10. You get like 13.5 second duration on it, and its cooldown I believe starts when you use it, and its cooldown is 30 seconds, unless they change that.
No, it says still 30 seconds.
Yeah, but like it's a fairly short cooldown. I don't think it's necessarily limited by the cooldown though, because it does consume Dorka per second, which is kind of big.
Yeah.
So I think overall, I think it's an okay skill. I feel like its damage was a little high, but
I think
Alright.
without the damage itself, I don't know. The damage of it
Yeah.
is really high, but if it didn't have the damage, it'd be a pretty weak skill if it
Yeah.
just did itself.
Mage needed some single target, and I think it's fine with this. I do like the increased bolt damage taken by the enemy. I think that's good too.
Yeah, it says the bolt damage for my old patch is 10%.
Yeah. Like, fusion bolt. Fusion bolt needs love too.
I like the quality of life that they did, that you actually can just have to use one skill only, and now you can use Fusion Bolt.
Yeah. I like that too. Yeah, so they did make a change to Fusion Bolt where you can now have a manage button on the Fusion Bolt where you will click the manage button and you'll be able to bind the specific combination of Fusion Bolts that you want to use. So you could bind like fire, lightning, which is probably going to be the Fusion Bolt combination you use the most, to like just one button and just press the button and then fire it off instead of having to like fit around with getting the timings right on two buttons.
And sometimes messing up your combo and ruin everything.
Yeah.
I am kind of curious if they're gonna allow it to swap to your wand prioritizing, or if it's gonna swap to your staff.
Let's hope wand.
Hopefully, or if you push the button right, the one singular button, if it would just make you just start casting fusion bolt with whatever weapon you have.
Well, you can't cast fusion bolt without a magic weapon out.
It will. Well, right now when you try to cast both the bolts at the same time, it will override the other bolt.
No, yeah.
But I'm wondering if you making it into that one single target button, it will either force it to go to the wand, or it would just
Surely,
it would just make you
surely
try to
it's not
cast one of the
broken.
bolts.
surely it's not broken.
That's what I'm imagining right now. Like you have your D-blade and you're like, oh man, I gotta fusion bolt this, and it just makes you stand there trying to cast the bolt, and it's really awkward, and you're like,
I would hope they made it just directly cast the fusion bolt the skill. I think that's what they did. I like to hope that, but who knows?
yeah, who knows?
Snowstorm?
Snowstorm. Ooh, there's actually a decent amount I would like to talk about Snowstorm.
I think the skill is broken as fuck.
I think the skill is ridiculous. It's really cool, and it's really OP, and it really hurts.
I think it does way too much damage, and it has way too much utility. I think they need to either reduce the amount of duration it has, or reduce the amount of damage it does. Because currently this thing destroys things with its damage. Like it just does way too much damage.
Almost 900,000 damage from what I've seen.
Yeah, like it does a ton of damage for no reason.
It's cooldown to 60 seconds. It lasts for like 10 seconds. It's radius.
Yeah, and its cooldown starts ticking when you use it. By the way,
you can touch
it. With links, you can get 12 seconds on it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a 12 seconds. So like you're getting what, 48-second cooldown realistically, or 48 seconds downtime.
Yeah. And then
its radius is ginormous. They nerfed the radius a little bit because of how much, because of how much it was getting raised to.
Yeah.
But its radius is still big. You can still place it down in one blast things, or stampede things, or like wire pull things, or crisis, or Act 7, or do a ton of different things to get them in, like spinning slash ring. It just looks really overall. Insane. Yeah, it just looks really good. It just does too much. It does everything.
It does damage. It does gather up. It doesn't even allow knockdown. Yellow slimes die to this thing.
Yeah,
this thing is ridiculous.
You can place this down and spam fireball. If they don't nerf it like they did with Harmonic Saints AoE thing, I'm gonna laugh. People claimed it was too strong that the skill is way, but this skill is way too stronger.
This skill is way too strong.
I think the Harmonic Saint AoE was weird. I think Harmonic Saint wasn't intended to be a damage class. And then when they saw people doing that kind of damage with it, they backpedaled. Because I think when they created Saint Bard, I think they always had the idea that they were going to make Dark Mage. I think that they had an idea of what Arcanas they were going to make when they first made Arcanas. And so I think they didn't want Saint Bard to be... So they made that, and they found that it was doing too much damage, and they didn't want it to encroach over Dark Mage. I think the Saint Bard amount of damage it did was kind of unhealthy for how much it did for no gear investment. I do think that Pulse of Purification is terrible, and that it needs something else.
I think Pulse of Purification honestly should just deserve to gain back that Iron Will, like the heavy standard that it had before. Because it just doesn't have the damage, but that's not what you're aiming for. You don't want it to do the damage, but what's the point of just standing there, using it, and then getting knocked down or needing to sacrifice a tech slot? Especially when they made it allow to heal people now. But if you want to heal people, right, and you want to use that at the same time and damaging things, I think it's fine, to be honest with you. It just needs to not knock you back. It really needs to just get that heavy standard back, and it should be fine from there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think it'd be fine with just a heavy standard, but it just can't do the same amount of damage that it did prior to that. I think it'd be fine.
I think...
Evie says it could be larger to try and stun and heal within the range. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it should be a longer range. I agree. It should be a bigger range.
Or actually make it not make you stationary. Yeah, I think if it was a placeable thing that just healed, I think it'd be really good.
Especially for how long it's cooldown. It's ridiculously too long for its cooldown.
Yeah, just an ability that never gets to see any use. Which is it's tragic because it's a cool looking ability.
Cool looking ability, very special effect at the very end. I think the bomb thing it does at the very end should honestly do a lot of damage. That there should do a lot of damage, but for its up ramp of damage, it should honestly not do much, like at all. If anything, it should just honestly just heal people and like how it does inside the Saint Link. And then that explosion should deal like the damage that it should be doing. I think that's fine. Bigger. It's basically kind of like a save of renewal, but like kind of worse because it doesn't recover mana or stamina. But maybe that's what it should do. Honestly, it should start recovering those, and it shouldn't really do that much damage. I think it should probably nerf its damage inside when it's ramping up, but the explosion should honestly deal a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I don't think it should like intended safety zone skill. Yeah.
Evie says it feels like an intended safety zone skill, and yeah, it does feel like the intent behind it was you to put like an area up for your party where they would be safe, because it knocks things out of the circle, doesn't it?
Yeah, it knocks things out of the circle. It's supposed to be pushing things away, but
yes, it wants to keep your team safe with it, but like you just get hit by one thing and then it cancels the ability.
And all it does is just healing. It doesn't recover mana or stamina, and that explosion is really long delay as well. And the fact it doesn't have heavy standing anymore, it gives piercing, which I personally don't think it should have, by the way. I don't think it should have any type of piercing on the skill itself. If it's trying to be this damage dealer and like a mix of between, it should really stop trying to do that. It should honestly give up all the damage stuff. Honestly, it should just keep the push away thing, and it should just automatically just start healing you and giving stamina and mana recovery as well, and the explosion should be the only thing that does damage.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be allowed to do this piercing like damage that's trying to pull off. It's just
it really, has an identity crisis.
Yeah, it's not that guy. It's not Snowstorm. It needs to stop pretending to be Snowstorm. It needs to be it needs to be the opposite of Snowstorm.
Yeah. Yeah. Snowstorm it just looks way too strong. Snowstorm
is just too strong. And
it just does too much damage. It looks too convenient. I think if you have a full party of Dark Mages, you will be able to breeze through Crom 100.
Rotation of Snowstorm. Woo!
You just rotate the Snowstorms, nothing can get out, and you just spam Fireballs and Thunder Prag.
We have the same issue for Glen Hard. You just Snowstorm everything.
Well, not everything can be moved in Glen Hard.
Yeah, that's why the Snuggly Wugglies can actually just casually move out of it.
Yeah, the Snuggly Wugglies will be able to walk out of it.
Yeah. I love the fact that it's the Snuggly Wugglies. They're really fucking annoying, but like, honestly, that heavy standard that they have is honestly such a clutch for them to have.
Yeah.
It's annoying as hell, but it's honestly good for the game if we're gonna have like skills like this to bring them in like that, because you can throw crisis stuff in there, just not consistent. But like at the same time, I really don't want stuff to be like brought up that easily anymore. Like Karam is a really good example of what happened when everything got brought together.
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to just group everything and just beat the shit out of it.
And I think that's the main issue with Karam. As much as I really like Karam, I think the main issue with it is that so many stuff can be really easily cheesed if you just brought it all together and then just lightning smashed it or like flame burst it, or like even with this new skill, that's the main issue with it right now, is that it just keeps everything in one spot for everybody to just demolish it.
Yeah. Like there's nothing stopping everybody from doing all their abilities. Like that's the thing, it synergizes way too well with every other Arcana's abilities. You could even Snowstorm Pulse of Purification them.
Yeah.
Like it's just way too strong, I think.
And the fact that you can have a Dark Mage and the same Bard with you, and just seeing that same Bard calling out their pulse, no.
Yeah, you're just gonna pulse and then everything is gonna melt. It looks really strong. Or you're just gonna pull and then everything is gonna melt, I think. Oh, mana blockade. Mana blockade now, it doesn't lock enemies out from using anything if they tried to cast magic, which is good. I didn't like seeing people put mana blockade on the Feth Donut and it just stood there.
It was
So
kind of
that bug is fixed. Otherwise, I think mana blockade is a fine skill. Preventing enemies from casting magic. It's pretty good. It works on like Karis, so you can like cast it on Karis before they cast the frozen ground to like cancel it.
Yep.
Prevent them from casting it. So it's a really nice skill, really nice utility skill.
Yeah, I always
It recovers Dorcha whenever they try to cast the spell. So like, you still get Dornish Regeneration, which is good.
Yeah, I think the skill is pretty good.
Lizards. The fat lizards that spam the stupid freaking thing.
It doesn't prevent Shockwave because Shockwave is a hidden skill, I believe.
Yeah, the Star Cluster one.
Yep.
Oh shit.
It's a hidden skill that's not magic or anything. It's just purely just them being grouped up together, casting it.
Yep.
The same thing with the floor thing. It's not them themselves. It's just they're dead. It pops it up as a new thing.
Yeah.
So fire salamanders putting down their flame circles and stuff. They'll be still working and stuff.
Yeah.
The thing I really disliked about it was purely because how it just stopped like bosses. I think it should work on old trash mobs. It should not do anything to bosses personally.
Yeah, I can agree. But it still does stop bosses from doing magic, I believe.
I don't know. Kind of annoying, but I guess that's okay. It's not like a lot of bosses cast that many.
Yeah, I think it's like blocking Irisan's laser only. I don't know. I haven't seen it in Glen Hard mode yet, so it might actually block Kaliach's like
Ice Spear.
the Ice Spears. What's up, Dream?
I completely got. There was a skill that was annoying, but it stops. Oh, the carry circles.
Yeah, it does stop the carry circles.
Yeah.
Which is good. You don't necessarily need to spitting slasher it, it's convenient. That's for sure, because a lot of times those carries spawn all over the place, and maybe you and the other person that's grabbing them can't grab all of them. Like a dark mage can just drop it over on the ground, and the AOE is big enough. I think. I think overall it's a good skill. It's an interesting skill.
I think it's a really interesting skill. I think
is really cool.
Kind of a cool game changer kind of skill.
Yeah, it's like a skill that you actually have to think about its uses.
Yeah.
And I think it does have a lot of uses.
I think they tried to do that with blunting and like chain crash, but
but blunting and chain crash just were too powerful.
Yeah. And so they just started making them immune to that stuff. And
it was just too powerful at the time, and now I think they're building this with keeping future content in mind, to making sure that not all of it works on like certain things. And to make sure it has counters and times where it's really good to be used.
Yeah.
Which sort of brings it back into like a more of a class-based system.
Yeah. And then of course we need to start like, after all this, of course, we're going to start talking about like what the Arcana groups are going to start to look like, basically.
Can we talk about Link now? For a Dark Mage?
Yeah.
Alright, so Link 5 Dark Mage, you get 200 magic attack, 100 mana. You get 0.5 seconds off of the Blaze full charge time, which I think is really big. You're going to basically get to Blaze, and it'll only take 1 second to full charge, which is pretty good. Because currently it's 1.5 seconds, and it can be a little tight on the timing. 1 second is really good.
I know people have been talking about it and saying it's a really bad Link, but I personally think it's kind of OP. I think
the Blaze one is really good. Blaze is a really good ability at clearing rooms. It's a really good ability at doing AoE damage for really cheap and for really nothing.
People don't price the Blaze stuff.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
I think Blaze is really overpowered. Dream, when are you buying this Blaze Echo Stone for me? I'm in debt.
Wait till stuff sells. PP guns.
The other benefit they get is 200 magic attack and mana regeneration, while in Bakram boost, which is it's something, I guess.
Is it only Bakram boost?
Yes, it's during Bakram boost.
So they don't get any form of MP regen over time?
Nope. Not from the first 5 links. I don't think they get that in general.
Kind of a bummer.
And then I think they get 5% in magic damage, and then 5% advanced magic damage according to the new patch. I think.
Wild Brackman.
What do I think of these base stats? I think they're fine. I like
it's
the
a lot of
plays.
MP, isn't it?
I think it's 100.
Mm.
I don't think the mana is too important. I think the magic attack is the weird thing. They give it the same amount as Saint Bard, which I think is kind of weird.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
But at the same time, they're also giving it like int magic and then advanced magic damage, so I guess it's fine.
I don't know, it's kind of weird because you wouldn't need this additional int damage and advanced magic damage if you gave them more magic attack, right?
Yeah, but then it becomes strong at healing, right? Doesn't healing scale off of int?
Only for
obviously-
Saint Bard.
Only
Mag-
for Saint Bard?
Yeah, Saint Bard is only one that bases its healing off int, and then for magic attack, it gives
Well,
one additional heal. point.
Maybe they didn't want Fusion Bolt and they didn't want Mana Shield being too powerful.
That's what I thought at first. I was like, well, if they want more people to be doing Fusion Bolt and Shield to be not too strong, because right now, with 1k magic attack, that's 10 basically efficiency on pretty much everything, which is really large right now, of course. However, the thing is, I'm not really sure how piercing works against this magic shield or anything like that, so I'm not really 100% sure if getting more magic attack is actually worth it.
Yeah.
If anything, it just allows people in KR to catch the 1.3k easier for the 3 piercing, because they don't have eerie spookies. And just not having that additional 200 magic attack seems kind of weird not to have. You know, just to have 400 magic attack in total from Dark Mage versus 200.
Yeah.
And I don't know if everyone will get over 1.3k magic attack with just a Nightbringer staff.
I think they will. I think they will because they're gonna blue upgrade.
Yeah, the blue upgrade. But that's the thing, you have to blue upgrade. You can't do it with a red upgrade.
Yeah, at least in Korea. I think you might be able to here.
Yeah, you'll be able to here.
They increased the boost actually to 1,400, but I think that's still very doable. Without blue, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's kind of asking a lot from KR to do, is reaching those, because it's easier for us to get it because we have spooky Eerie's, we can easily hit that.
Yeah.
And remember, this is keep in mind that their int cap is now upper. They're now 1.9k. So it's still kind of hard to hit that 1.4k with just red upgrades, especially for staff. It might be doable with Fusion Bolt. Maybe that's why.
Maybe.
Kind of weird.
Oh, I think the int magic and advanced magic damage seems good too. I think Blaze is good. I don't know about the Bakken boost thing. It just seems weird. But I guess when you Bakken boost, that's the time to go ham.
It seems kind of more like a clutch gimmick to me personally.
It seems really gimmicky. It seems like you pop your Bakken boost and then you just unload everything.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's a good idea though. That's the thing.
I think it's an interesting idea. I'd have to see how it ends up playing.
Because it will reset everything from Dark Mage as well, right? So I can technically have 2 snowstorms.
Yeah.
I really hope that the new content that they're going to add just requires multiple Arcana types.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. I would like to hope they do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, should we go on link? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, like they're building the basis for it. It's just I really
it feels
hope
like
they
they're building
implement
it
it well.
towards like classes.
Yeah.
Like instead of like the normal like tank healer DPS trinity, it seems like they're going for like the 6 Arcana or whatever. Because it seems like next time they release Arcana, they're gonna release whatever Lance Arcana and then something else.
I think there's going to be more Arcana because if you look at the stones, there's 13, right?
Yeah, so we're gonna get more Arcana in the future going forward.
Yeah.
But like it
I think
definitely
there's
feels
just going
like
to be one for each talent.
it definitely feels like they're making it more as like a class-based thing. I do like the fact that you can only choose one Arcana to be active at any time.
Can you imagine if you can just use all of them? It's like you wouldn't need other skills.
Yeah.
I don't know if they will allow to.
But never do that though.
Hopefully not.
Hmm.
All right.
Because right now, the two Arcanas that could be really powerful together is, say, Bard and Dark Mage together.
Yeah.
That PAL alone is kind of insane with Dark Mage.
Mm-hmm. Should we talk about Link 6 now?
Yeah.
Okay, Link 6 is Fusion Bolt and Intermediate Magic Chain Casting +1 for Link 6 to 8, and then if you're Link 9 to 10, yeah, you get +2. This works combined with
The Ego Effect.
the Ego Effect for both.
Which, let's talk about this for a little while, because there's actually a lot of interesting combos you can come out with this. This allows you to use any type of staff without Ego to cast Fireball with +2, or any wand with +2 with Fireball, or casting Fusion Bolt with any staff with +2, or any wand without Ego as well with +2. Realistically, people wouldn't do that without their Ego, because that +5 is quite intense and that's a lot more damage. But since we have the Ruination weapon, seeing Fusion Bolt with a Ruination staff, because of the extra, piercing, it might be just overall better.
It could be.
Just because it's just purely Ruination.
You would have to keep in mind not only I'm stretching. Not only the piercing though, but the casting speed is going to be a lot slower in staff compared to wand.
This is true, but you also make up with it with the Tri-Elemental effect as well.
Yeah, you are getting a lot more damage though, so you'd have to really compare to see which one ends up being more DPS.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously which one feels better as well. I think wand is going to feel a lot better in lower end content where things are going to die instantly, where you just want the speed to get it over with, right?
Yeah, because you want all 5 cast all at once instead of just having just the additional 2.
Yeah, but I think potentially you might see staff on bosses with Fusion Bolt. It could be good.
It's just really weird to think about, is all.
Yeah. I also think, let's not forget about what else it actually does, or like the main idea it does, which is 5 cast fireball in 1 charge.
Which is insane, by the way, especially for a combo card. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's gonna.
Ooh.
It instantly doubles Magic's DPS in 1 link alone, just because you don't have to take 2 cast times to full charge. Yui says that's too much screen clutter. Yeah, good luck seeing. Good luck, my friends. You're not going to see anything when you're partying with me, I swear. Me and Dog, you're going to make sure you can't see.
It's just going to be
Imagine if you could dye your abilities AoEs.
Yeah.
I mean, they tried to do
DIY
that.
flashies.
They did it with some skills already. They made Fireball into a rose, and it looks a lot more cleaner. But at the same time, it's
I'm
ugly.
not paying for that.
Yeah, I'm not paying for it, and it's ugly. Ugly.
I like the McWaffles one better.
Me too. It doesn't make like a bunch of black fog or smoke or anything like that. It just makes a bunch of goodness. Also, is there a reason why these things are locked to you once you open them up? Kind of annoying.
Yeah, because they want you to spend more money and get multiple.
Meh.
Yeah, that's all I think I have to say on the intermediate chain casting. I think this is single-handedly the most broken link. Militia already can't read, but soon Militia won't be able to see too. Yeah. Good luck, guys. Link 7, I guess. It's 20% increased Orca gain, 3% increased Dark Mage skill damage with a wand, and 5% with staff. And that goes up to 5 and 7 respectively at Link 9 to 10. So it seems like with Dark Mage, when you get Link 9 and 10, it increases the effects of the Link 6 and 7 links. So it's something to look forward to. This is just flat out damage. It's kind of boring. Like, yeah, the Dorka gain is important though.
Dorka gain is important. Flat out damage is weird, and I find it a little odd that everything kind of just getting upgraded when it depends on the link. The higher it is, like
it's only these two.
Yeah, it makes sense, but no other Arcana kind of does that. Besides, I guess Elemental Knight when it comes to cooldowns.
Elemental Knight gets the 10% of MA becomes min-max damage.
That's true. I guess it's not that weird. I
So
guess.
I don't think this is that weird.
I guess I was kind of comparing it to a chemical stinger, where it kind of doesn't really get any of that.
Yeah. I think it's interesting how each Arcana is pretty different in terms of what its link effects want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think more damage is cool and all. I guess I don't know. That's all it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Link 8, lightning chain duration plus 3 seconds, so it goes from 10 seconds to
3.
to 13.5, I believe.
Kind of big. And then snowstorm goes an additional 2 more seconds.
So yeah, from 10 to 12. Yeah.
Kind of big, kind of not. It's kind of right there.
I mean, 2 seconds is a decent amount of time. 3 seconds is a decent amount of time. It's just more time to do DPS. Good link. Very very boring link, but it's a good one. It's a goodie. It's like the increased range on like Link 9 for Elemental Knight. You know, it's nice. It's really nice to have.
Yep.
Link 9 is just more damage. That's it. Just 5% more Dark Mage skill damage with 1 and 7% with staff. Yeah, there's nothing to say there, really.
Yeah, boring.
Link 10 is all of the utility, so it's... and more damage, it's lightning change range. So we go from 20 meters to 22 meters for lightning change range. Snowstorm radius gets an extra 2 meters.
From 8 meters to 10 meters.
Yep. You get 1 more magic pierce, and you reduce enemies' magic defense by 400 if you have a 1 and 600 by a staff. I think it's good. Looks good. 1 pierce, cool. Magic gonna be really strong, I think.
Magic strong.
Magic strong.
Fusion bolt scary.
My big worry with Dark Mage is it feels like it's a very all-encompassing talent.
It's a kind of a scary arcana if you actually look at it. Even off paper and seeing it actually play out, it's a really scary looking arcana. It can basically do it all. It can group up.
Yeah, it can do it all.
It has piercing. It has its own supportive skills. It has somewhat of a high management of resources. Kind of not. It's right now kind of lower than I suspected now. And it honestly goes well with a lot of other talents pretty well.
Yeah. I hope that in the future we see things that are in these new content that they release that are things that are more resistant to magic and more weak to melee skills and vice versa, so that when you go in with your party you have to have a like diverse balance of your like team composition. I think that'd be cool. But as far as it goes with current content, Dark Mage looks clear and above everything else to be like the best Arcana. Just because of how much you can get done with 1 talent set. It's very cheap.
Very cheap, very strong, and pretty scary.
Oh, that's all I really have to say about it. I think Fusion Bolt is looking really good.
Agreed. Fusion Bolt kind of looking pretty good with it. The stats increase are pretty huge, I'm not gonna lie. It looks like Elemental Knight and St. Bart are still gonna give the most stats, while these other two don't really provide too much. Which, it's okay. It's fine. It is kind of odd to see the Arcana level head up to 150. Not because they don't want people to gain stats for the archery one as well the lance one. They've answered that inside of QA where they really don't want that to happen. But inside of future stuff, anything that's race exclusive when it comes to any type of Arcana, obviously we won't see an at-level Arcana, sadly. And we won't see, like, what's it called? What's
what called?
Shoot. Besides that, there is one other weapon that we probably won't see as an Arcana, to be frank. Just because it's exclusive, but I just can't remember on top of my head what it is. But obviously Ladder won't become an Arcana, just not because of the archery Arcana, but purely because 2 races can't equip it.
Yeah. I didn't know elves had something that only elves could equip.
I forgot what it was, but I just can't remember what top of my head what it is. It's so irrelevant and it's just out of the way kind of deal. So,
Whippers.
Huh?
Quivers.
I don't remember. Rapier.
Rapier.
That's elemental 9.
Yeah, let's not talk about that, you elf. I know what you complain about on the forums.
Yeah, boy.
No rapier, no scythe talent. Make
No
elves
scythe.
dual wield axes.
Dual wield axes. I want dual wield crossbows. I think it wouldn't even be that bad. That's the worst part.
Oh yeah, there's another big thing that we get with the new Arcanas, and that's 2% more crit damage limit when you hit the max level of it.
Oh, that's true. We're
So-
now 4% right now. It's going to be 6%, right?
Yep.
Kind of big.
Yep, big. You're also gonna get 100 more stat cap stats, so that's pretty big.
I think all of our HP and P7 also get an additional 250, right?
Yep, 250 of it.
Poggers.
That is correct. You have maximum crit chance of 48.5. That's really good. Really close to critting 50% of the time. And yet I still never can crit. Never lucky. I think Dark Mage just looks really good though. I think it's going to be really good in NA, so if you are interested in getting Dark Mage, make sure you start getting to work on your gear for it. Start picking up your things. I think I might actually craft the Dark Mage or the magic armor from Glenn.
Magic armor that I'm going to be wearing for fashion.
Yeah, I'm going to have it in my style tab for the longest time, I swear.
It looks good.
It doesn't look too bad. I have my refined Royal Knight for tank set anyway, so it'll be good enough for Glenn, I hope. And then when the new Arcana comes out, I can switch and it'll be fine, I hope.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty much all we have for this topic.
Yeah.
I think that's all we really had for this week, really. There were some updates to talk about, so nice weekly update. Thank you, Nixon, for actually doing your job.
Oh, we didn't really address the new skill changes, actually.
Oh, do you mean support shot?
Yeah, support shot, rage impact, and all that stuff.
Okay.
Let me go pull that part up real quick, because that is kind of something that's important to talk about, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm
just gonna say my opinion about the support shot change, and I'm not gonna say it's a bad thing. I think it's okay.
I think it's for the good of the game.
I think it's okay. It's just kind of upsetting to see it drop from so high than into this.
I think that support shot right now in its current form of having one support shotter it's really good. Personally, I enjoyed playing the support shot bot because it's very easy, very brain dead, right?
It's fun though.
Yeah. And it obviously is a really big increase to damage, but it is kind of toxic in the fact that support shot is cleansed off by any damage, so it's actually troll to have a mage attacking, or it's troll to have like an archer attacking and not support shotting.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just...
I think it's healthier for the game overall.
Yeah, I think it's healthy. I think the amount of damage it increases is good enough. Yeah, I think it's a positive change. The fact that you require more than one person to keep it up, I think it's pretty healthy. It requires a good mix of people if you want to keep it up. It requires a party instead of just like one person permanently keeping it up and one more debuff to worry about. It seems like it's a pretty good debuff.
I kind of semi-agree with that. I agree that it does need more party members to keep it up. However, having the minimum of 3 people needing to keep it up is kind of harsh.
I don't think it's that harsh.
Because just think about it inside like an average team. You will have a giant, like, let's think about it like an average team of a race. Like, you will have a giant, an elf, and a human.
Average team comp, I think, is like 3 humans and 1 elf and 0 giants. Having a giant in your party is already a rarity. What are the odds you have 2 of them?
You want to know something funny? My Glen party, more than half of them are giants. So maybe I'm just running with all the giants at 2 Glens right now.
You're frolicking with the giants.
But
yeah.
This is what I mean. The 3 requirement people just to upkeep it like constantly It just seems a little too much. I think it could be brought down a little bit and make it a minimal of like 2 people to always upkeep it.
Mhm.
Like a 15-second cooldown instead of the full 30.
Yeah, so, just for reference, I don't think I said exactly what they're doing, but support shot, it's no longer going to get consumed by other talent effects, and it's no longer going to get consumed in general.
Yeah.
But when you support shot something, for the next 10 seconds, it's going to take 20% more melee damage. The master support shot title increases that by 10%. And so you're going to get essentially 30% increased melee damage for 10 seconds after you use it. Which means you're probably not going to use a support shot title, and you're probably going to use a normal title, and just support shot in turns, and then just do melee damage.
I think Bohemian would be still worth it. And we're also forgetting about...
Definitely worth it.
Yeah, and top of a glyph, it'd be basically just 70% once again.
Yeah.
Close to it. It'd be like 65%? Hang on.
I think like 67%, right?
20% plus 30%.
Here's who is qualified. Or like the 10 title, Stormborn.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be around like 63, 65. With everything on top, like Glyph, Bohemian, Dan title. It's about 63, 65.
Yeah. I think it's a fair change.
Yeah. This means that the support shot class is still a thing. It's just that you won't be staying inside of it. If you really want to, I guess if you want to go hards on the board, you'll be swapping your title and bringing it back to the damaging one, and then swapping your equipment. That honestly, I don't think anyone would be doing that personally. But if you really want to do that, it's an option.
Yeah. Surely you just have the Bohemian equip swap set that you just tap on.
Yeah.
Switch to the support shot set, support shot, and then switch off.
Yeah. Which I think is fine. I think it's more healthier for the game. I think people shouldn't be just stuck on the support shot, just support shotting. As much as I really enjoy it, and as much as AFK it is, I think it was really unhealthy for the game for just someone, like, you legitimately just pick up a noob or like raids, being like, hey, you just support shot, and that's all you do. Now sit there and support shot me!
Pretty sure there's people that do that already. No, not putting any names out there, but...
Joker.
Yeah.
Support shot me now! Don't do anything.
Put any names out there.
You don't even do anything. Support shot it.
Support shot.
Support shot it.
Dude, I don't do anything. Okay.
Support shot it.
Support shot it.
Let's talk about Rage Impact. So they made it so Rage Impact doesn't get cleansed off from other attacks damage.
Which is big,
Is
by the way.
it still just a one-hit thing, or is it a
It is still
duration?
a one. It's a still one hit thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Having a debuff roll is good. Having that debuff roll be nothing but just spam support shot is kind of dumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can agree.
It's really unhealthy.
The really big thing is that anything that's not melee damage griefs the support shot, because then your melee doesn't get it.
Yep.
So like really diminishes the effect of archery, and it really diminishes the effect of magic. So the current change is really good for the going forward. It's a really healthy change, I think.
Healthy change.
I think Rage Impact not consuming as well. If it's not melee damage, is really healthy as well.
I find it kind of weird, to be honest with you, that it takes 1 melee damage.
I don't think it's that weird.
It's kind of weird because, like, if you're Rage Impacting and you have a 2-handed sword and you Rage Impact again, what happens then?
You Rage Impact your Rage Impact.
No, because you'll be too quick for the Rage Impact to be applied.
You're talking about a double Rage Impact? You probably just overwrite one with the other.
That's what I think will happen, because the first, when you Rage Impact and then you get that cooldown reset, Rage Impact, then will it just reapply it once again, basically? It won't affect your second Rage Impact damage, but you know, it's kind of weird. Because people can still Rage Impact SS.
Yeah. Well, you're just SS Rage Impact and it's whatever. It doesn't matter what order anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what order now, but you know.
Now everyone just gets the Rage Impact. Now the support is a giant with dual blunts, and they just get the Rage Impact cooldown Echo Stone, and they just spam Rage Impact off cooldown.
Yeah, the new supportive giant.
Yeah.
Can DM still remove that impact I mean,
Yes.
Yeah, Crayon.
that's
Yeah.
my one problem I have with Hasi right now. Whenever I rage impact, somebody is like, "Whoops, let me death mark right now and remove all the buffs."
But at least support shot doesn't get removed. This is actually pretty big for like raids like that, where people are starting up D-Blade. They don't need to worry about it.
Yep. They can just use support shot whenever. They don't have to wait for rage impact anymore.
Yeah. So there's no timing included. So it's now big brain dum dum now. But like at the same time, it's a lot more healthier because it allows you to like shoot it or load up your own D-Blade as well. Support shot is now not intensive.
I know this is gonna be a problem because a lot of people have the excuse of not doing anything in Hasi because it's like, oh, I'm support shot spamming. It's like, no, you're not. It's 10 seconds, so you should be DPSing instead of just sitting there.
Exactly.
I know some people are gonna be salty about that. But this is more like a Hasi raid that I'm doing right now.
I'm upset about it because it's I like sitting there and support shotting. I don't want to do anything else.
It's true.
It's like I was happy just standing in one place, spamming one ability.
I made a glyph for this.
Aww.
Man, I'm going back to spamming what was it? Wizard Elite.
No, you're not.
I haven't run Wizard Elite in like a year.
I guess the final base skill change is the elf buff.
The Ladaka thing?
I was getting buffed.
Yeah, so they are adding 2 visions of Ladeka, 10% bonus damage when using archery talent skills.
Woo!
This effect works similarly to how Giant Smite of Ladeka affects Ally Knight skills,
Woo!
where it affects the base skill, which then scales the alchemical stinger skill.
Woo!
Yeah, I guess they buffed elves. They didn't change anything about humans, so humans still, they're still getting fucked.
You guys have dual wield. Stop complaining.
Yeah, you guys can do a wield. What other race can do a wield? Come on.
Oh boy.
Look at that. No other race can do a wield.
I can dual wield my crossbows. Oh, wait.
That would be pretty cool. Can you imagine that's a thing? Humans can dual wield crossbows. It's just fucking.
What? Humans
Oh,
dual
look.
wielding crossbows.
That'd be a
Get
bit
this
much.
guy out of here. Remove him out of here. It's all about the elves
Banned.
dual wielding.
Well,
I
okay,
don't
what
want
do
dual wielding
humans do?
crossbows.
What's human special thing then?
Dual wield swords. Deal with it.
Wow.
You already have. What
can't
is,
Yeah,
what
let
is there
us
to
dual
go?
wield crossbows.
What's the issue here? You guys have CRK. You don't even need Imperial armor. You don't need to complain.
We do need to complain, sir. You guys have inbuilt Fate Weaver. Well, here we are, slow as all hell.
I feel like humans complain the least until one human cart starts complaining, and then they all complain. But elves just all complain.
Yeah,
No,
Another giant buff. Thank you.
they need to buff human speed because
No,
it's
no. Giant buff first. Thank you.
I think
What?
they need to just normalize movement speed.
get.
Why is every race different movement speed when it scales differently? Just give every race the same movement speed, and then you can balance mechanics better. I'm just saying.
I'm just. Saying.
I like my wind speed. Human's too slow.
You get hit by a windmill from across the road. Don't even.
It's true.
you get like 100% more damage in your smash and your elemental knight. So yeah, okay,
I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah. And then we got like, oh, also your Latica, Breath of Latica, what you get like how much percentage of increased damage?
15.
I don't know
Smart.
what you're talking about.
And then there's like there's humans like, oh, you get a 10% dual wielding
Yeah,
buff
you got a dual wield.
to blades that don't even have penetration. Let's go.
Watch as the rest of the elves burn me for this. Honestly, all races should have the same movement speed at this point. That's a really hot topic. I think most elves say that they need more movement speed. I think most elves also think they should be able to dual wield Saluna blades. And wield like all 3 of the Arcanas, and it's not fair that they can't.
Oh, I got a leather. Let's go.
I think elves need to stop complaining about archery and just allow dual wielding crossbows because I think that honestly sounds fun.
I think
Now,
elves need to just stop complaining. I think elves are broken.
And the sad
Is
part, I think this.
Isn't
We're
crossbows
just
the same
attacking
as
each other
gunner?
races now.
I think
Yeah,
that's.
we're-
I think that's.
Yeah, this
think-
evolved into a really racist stream if you think about it.
I think the worst part about dual wielding crossbows is that it would even be better than a rune bow.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
It actually will probably be just right behind it.
Yeah.
I think that's the honestly sad part, and it's purely because crossbows don't have any bolts that support them.
I
Maybe
think-
should fix ping issues. That's my issue with bows at this point. Yeah.
I don't
Maybe
know,
in Unreal.
I don't know if they'd be able to fix that issue actually.
I think elves should get a buff for ninja, and humans should get a buff for gunners, like gun skills.
Can someone
I
remove
think
this
they
guy?
need to. I think they need to just fix those talents.
Someone needs to remove this guy.
Yeah.
Wow, that's it.
We don't need to buff those skills when it comes to damage. Those skills just need a full-on rework and need to change.
Yeah,
for what they are.
those skills are just bad, and they're fundamentally flawed.
And the
No,
fact
but gunner is fun. I know what you're talking about.
Gunner is fun. The main issue is Gunner just falls off too fast. And
Yeah.
Gunner should honestly not fall off too fast, to be honest with you. I think Gunner by itself was a sleeping giant for a moment, just because of how much max it has. But that's the thing. There's nothing to wake up the giant because of how much max you have. Your skills are just simply just detrimentally kill you easily. Your skills are a little too long, and your animations, when it comes to Flash Launcher or the other one that shoots you backwards, are just too long as well. It's just too punishing, too long, and the damage output, it's just not well worth for the amount of max that you need to place in.
Well, probably the biggest thing is the ping. Like, you can actually use basic attacks to stun lock stuff. It's just our ping sucks.
Guns and
That's-
chains, pretty much the same thing. Yeah.
That's the main issue as well with guns, is that the only strongest thing that you have for guns is the way of the gun.
You don't even need way of the gun.
Like,
it just
dual,
shoots so fast on KR.
I use shooting rush a lot, just to dodge. I think guns are really good at moving your character around very quickly.
I think way of the gun is kind of broken, I'm not gonna lie.
Way of the gun does do a lot of damage though.
I think it's scary. It's a scary skill. I don't know
I
anyone.
think
I don't know
It
anyone
needs
else.
a little rework where you don't lose your way of the gun just because you switch weapons. Because a lot of the cases, I lose my way of the gun because I need to defend or like move or like around. And
I
that's
think removing the way of the gun when you switch weapons is actually a benefit for it for a lot of things.
I agree.
Yeah, that's how you can triple.
Yeah, that's a triple bullet storm
Bulletstorm.
frag things.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I guess.
So you bullet storm,
Also, they
way
should
of
make
gun,
a
bullet
bullet.
storm, swap off, and then bullet storm.
They should make a bullet that is permanent because I'm pissed and tired of having to build freaking bullets.
I agree on that.
Yeah, I don't know why there isn't an infinite bullet.
But now
It's
we're
like,
getting
oh,
off topic from
that's
Magma Shot.
infinite freaking
But-
gun. And then here's the gun having
This is
to.
all just speculation though.
Or we're getting off topic from the support shop.
Yeah. Well, I think we covered everything there is with the new abilities. Let me look one more time. I can talk more about the changes that they made to Lightning Chain. Yeah, so Lightning Chain, during Lightning Chain, the target's magic defense and protection are reduced by 50% and 20% respectively.
Pretty big.
That's
disgusting. And 20% magic peel.
That's insane.
That's
That
like
is
double Fate
absolutely
Weaver,
disgusting.
and then you can have Fate Weaver on it. So yeah, you're gonna fucking annihilate things. It's disgusting.
Prag and a Corgi and Polyrunation.
Yep.
Yep.
You're going to be doing true damage most of the time, I swear. It's
And
weird.
Prag.
Blaze is also going to benefit from Mana Pierce, so all the Blazers, really good.
Blaze people rise up.
Let's see, and then you need, in order to receive 3 Pierce, you need 1,400 magic attack, which honestly isn't too hard to hit.
No, it's not too hard for us. It is kind of
Yeah,
hard
it's
for
not
KR
bad.
people, but nah.
Yeah, hopefully you can hit it with a red upgraded staff, guys. Good luck.
Good luck.
You can switch now, right, from red to blue, or is that
Yeah.
like a one-time thing?
You will be able to switch.
Yep, it's gonna be an event item, which is weird. But yeah, other than that, anything else you guys want to include?
Buff humans.
Nope, I think that's about it. I think the new Arcanas look really fun. I hope that Ellie Knight isn't completely overshadowed by them.
I mean, the one thing about Ellie Knight that I don't think they will ever can replace is that it gives you more survivability. Sure, Dark Mage, you can just nuke stuff on that, but you can't get the survivability that Elemental Knight has.
Joker,
What's up?
mana shield.
Yeah.
What about it? You know, in Glen Harmo, they literally one hit you and all your mana shield is gone.
You know that Mana Shield scales off a magic attack, right? And you can get more damage reduction by having higher magic attack.
Joker.
What's that?
It's actually really good. My Mana Shield lives pretty decently.
I don't run defensive techs in Glen Hardnout because my magic attack is that high.
Yeah.
Wait, so does that mean because I don't have Spooky Eerie, I'm suffering in Glen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I just soured my whole entire mood right now. It's like okay.
I mean, you shouldn't be getting hit that much. You
the
shouldn't
first
be getting
place.
hit that much in Glen Hard mode anyway, to be honest.
Yeah, probably you get hit maybe every 10 seconds. Not even, maybe 20 seconds if you mess up.
Yeah. Like, realistically, you shouldn't be getting hit
get
that often.
Oh no, I'm talking more like my other people, my other team members. Because usually, whoever I get as a duo, we usually have like 100 to 70% by the third room, but everybody else has like 0% and 20%.
Evie, no, is that why? Evie says, is that why there's an Eerie Haunted on the auction house? Oh, that's the Fusion Bolt accessory.
Fusion Bolt!
I'm just mad. The only thing I'm missing for my endgame gear is just creepy, haunted, and eerie, spooky.
I mean, you don't have a Warlord either, do you?
Hmm?
You don't have a Warlord either, do you?
No. But I don't need that. My divine is good.
I can't believe this actually.
There is an Eerie Haunted and it's 700 mil. What is this? This is actually the Fusion Bolt
I'll take
accessory.
a picture of that.
It just doesn't have the reforge. Who is this person?
I love the fact how it has the best of both worlds. The higher magic attack Eerie and the higher max haunted.
Wait, yeah, that's a Maximal Haunted and Maximal Eerie, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's pretty good, dude. What are you talking about?
Just buy it and then reroll the reforge.
Bro, you buying it for me? I don't have 700 mil. Someone buy my control bars. So I can buy cool. So yes, Erg 50S,
Dang.
dual line.
Dang.
How much are 3 ruination material? I mean, not 3, 6 ruination material worth in gold wise?
We take like the orb price. Let's see. What's the orb? How many? 9? 8? 6? You said 7.
7. Let's go with 7. 7 materials left.
476 mil.
Somebody let me borrow 476 mil.
Bro, I let you borrow a demo staff.
I know. Don't worry. I'm trying to get rid of it. I don't mean like sell it, right? I mean like get my ruination staff already. But I just don't get drops, unfortunately. I'm hoping there's like a farming event soon, so the prices go down, so I can just buy it. All the remaining.
Yeah, you just gotta sell Hasty leathers.
I am. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just selling hassle leather.
Obviously, if it's ominous ores, they're a lot cheaper. They're like 50 mil each. If you bought them like a month ago, though, they're like 30. But now they're more expensive.
I already got all the ominous ores I need.
He has all the ominous ores.
Yeah, I have 3 ominous ores, 2 blaze, and 4 orbs. So I'm missing.
I think the blazing flames are actually 10 million more each.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're about 10 mil more.
I don't think we have anything else to talk about right now.
Yeah,
All right.
that was concentrated juice.
Okay,
Episode
thank you
2.
for coming. We have our
Woo!
special guest, Dream
Spill the
and
juice.
Joker on the
Dream
side.
and Joker. And
We
Evie,
have
our
Evie.
manager.
Hello, Evie's our manager.
Our director.
Oh, there she goes. Goodbye,
There,
Evie.
goodbye, Evie.
Thank you for joining us, Dream. Follow Dream. His
Follow Dream.
whatever it is, Living Dream, something like that. Thanks for coming. We're coming back with another ninth
Next Thursday,
season.
with another spell.
Next Thursday, new spell.
New spell.
Hit them with that.
A Shadow Wizard
Hit
Gang.
them with that before I go.
Legalize
Bees
nukes.
make honey.
Ah. All right, go.
Where was that?
We're no longer live, guys.
You know what's funny? I accidentally joined you guys and I didn't even realize the podcast thing was going on. So I was like, oh, whoops, am I supposed to be in here?
True.
Kind of just crashed in. I was like, oh, I feel bad now.
I like how you say, is the stream off?
You're still alive,
He's
boy!
still alive.
You're still alive!
Now I feel
I wanted to interchange off a bomb. Ah!